Oh god. Wow.
And we are unmuted, which
Oh
means
my gosh.
That's us. We're unmuted.
Unmuted.
welcome everybody to tonight's episode of Roll of Fate. This is the Thursday campaign. Joining me tonight, we've got Cricky, Tiger, and Hunter McHuntingtons. So if you aren't already following the three of these beautiful people, you can find their information in the doobly-doo down below in my About section. And I even made it real easy for you. Go straight to their page. Oh, and my name, I'm Mason Dulo. Welcome. I'm your Dungeon Master for this evening. How's everybody doing? So, before we dive in for the evening, does anybody have any fun announcements or anything coming up?
Do I have anything coming up?
Well, I don't know about it coming up, but I mean,
Up and coming.
Not what I meant, not where I was going with that.
Sure, right, okay.
But what I was going to say is I just figured out they have a second skitter shot. So there's probably going to be having that run, hopefully, at some point.
Yeah, whenever you're ready to go.
I'm excited. You could reprise your role, Mason.
Oh boy, thanks.
And you actually use your spells this time.
There was no good. That first one sucked for a spellcaster. There's like
you hoarded
There's
them.
no good time.
There was
to
an
use.
entire section where you were based on. It was like
It was useless. It was a terrible one shot. It's mainly your fault. Nobody.
I'll just sit and
No, it was really
watch.
great. It was really fun. I can't wait.
What are you talking about? You can play.
I can't
Oh.
wait for. I can't wait for us to all top in. That'll be fun. Skittermanders. That'll be in Starfinder. That's coming up
Yeah.
relatively soon. And then Hunter's also been working on another Starfinder one shot.
Yes, I have.
And so we're going to be having Hunter run more fun games, and then I'll have to do less, which is fantastic. So
I'm too busy to run a consecutive game.
so I'll be excited to hop in and play instead of DMing. So that'll be a lot of fun real soon. Yeah, I think in the meantime, I think we're good to go. I don't think there's any other weird announcements or anything. Turn this music down a tiny bit more.
Oh, is it playing?
Yeah, I have a little bit. I can restart it real quick if you.
Yeah, restart it.
If
Yeah.
you're in
It's
there.
not playing.
Doesn't matter to me because I can't hear.
There it is.
Oh,
there you
I
go.
saw it make
It's
blue.
thinking. It's doing a thing.
It's thinking.
It's thinking.
doing a
Okay.
thing.
Dee 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 dee.
So.
Are you ready for this?
Last we left our heroes after having entered the cursed town of Aldua, which some 15 years ago or so had fallen under the kind of tyrannical reign and curse of this dark nightmare djinn named Phobator. Upon entering the city to try and find their friends, they were unable to immediately run across them, but after some investigation, they did find both Nessicle and Alistair. After a few battles, they did manage to find Ness and Alistair. Alistair was briefly taken by some kind of shadowy demon spider creatures, which our fellow party members managed to rescue him from. After that, after a short discussion with one of the old residents of Aldua, they decided to attempt to distract Phobator by sending a few people into the dream and attempting to draw his attention there by kind of rallying the people of Aldua who had been long since stuck in this dream nightmare state. It was Alistair and and Dragathiel who went to do this, while the others attempted to sneak into the tower in the middle of the city, which housed the urn that apparently Phobator's life force was tied to. After nearly losing both Alistair and Dragathiel, they did manage to
That
all
was
survive.
scary close.
Yeah, they both failed 2 death saves and nearly a third.
And
And
we,
collateral and a grander war.
yeah, we were 2 and 2.
2 and 2.
But they all did manage to survive, as Ness, Finveer, and Mercy all managed to entrap Phobator back inside his urn and seal it, essentially ending the curse over Aldua, returning its citizens back to what hopefully will become one day normal life again, and freeing the city of its corruption. So, after doing that, it was decided that Ness must return with the urn, perhaps to the Church of Yua, where it could be safely either disposed of or sealed away. Meanwhile, Alistair, having encountered some nightmares that he was uncomfortable with, Alistair decided that it was no longer going to potentially be safe for him to travel with you, as he did not have his mind in the right place and was going to have to go take care of some things from his past before anything else, before he could be depended upon. So, now, the rest of our party, with the three of you currently watching as Ness and Alistair kind of ride off through the southwestern gate of the city. The town itself attempting to return to normalcy as people stumble about confused, having been stuck in this perpetual state of nightmare for the past 15 years. Now you see as they begin to try and reconstruct what is remaining of their lives for those that survived. It's a relatively clear day, slightly overcast, but otherwise, as the kind of winter winds begin to sweep in, you all are left alone as everybody around you seemingly has no idea what you did. But it is now your day. What are you guys doing?
Aside from waking up from a great rest.
Okay. Yep. You all kind of begin stretching as the long rest which you finally got after a rather long stretch of unrest. You wake up feeling hopeful, even though you know that the path lies ahead of you, back into the Boreal Vale, where dark things are brewing. Having lost two of your friends, potentially making the odds a little harder against already overwhelming odds. But still, some semblance of hope has begun to at least sit at least a little bit in your core as you guys wake up for this next day. So,
well, I suppose that was a longer sidetrack than we'd intended.
Mm-hmm.
We should probably make haste.
Before we do that, it would be nice if we could find somewhere to maybe make a couple upgrades.
what exactly are you looking for?
Specifically, better armor.
Sure, you can certainly try. It will be a little difficult.
Yeah, I mean,
you can certainly try. Go ahead.
can I assist if she's looking around for
You guys go ahead and roll me an investigation check. I'll give you advantage because you are both doing it. So, Dragathiel, if you want to roll twice.
Okay. 18 total.
Hey.
Okay. So,
Thank goodness it was within me.
it takes a little bit. You find a district that looks like it probably would have craftsmen in it. You do see people kind of milling about. A few people go into a few different of the stores looking for people, apparently not finding them. After a little bit, you do end up finding somebody who's just kind of attempting to relight a forge, and kind of you see just kind of testing the wares and things that are kind of about the shop. It's kind of a middle-aged at this point individual, probably late 30s, early 40s, but it's a human male. A little bit on the scrawnier side for the type of work that this is, but his kind of now shoulder-length kind of blonde hair hanging there. You see as he's scratching his head and just working at the forge and trying to kind of get the flame stoked. Doesn't appear to have noticed any of you approaching so far.
And I'm gonna lean in to the guys and be like, "You think this guy can even make anything any good?"
Well, you'll never know unless you ask.
Okay. Excuse me.
Hi.
Hello.
How can I help you? Sorry, this is just a bit weird for me.
Yeah, it was weird for us too when we saved your town, but you know.
What?
Subtle.
Sorry.
Moving on. Yeah, we killed all those monsters. It was fun. But anyways, my armor got wrecked. Can you?
I perhaps he kind of takes a look over your armies. I can certainly try. If I'm being completely honest, I was still an apprentice when everything happened, but I was told I showed promise.
I'm gonna pat him on the back, like really, like friendly, like I'm sure the fire of your heart burns bright, and you can do it.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Well, I can certainly try. What, how soon do you need,
I mean, I would put it on rush order. Yeah.
All right. As he kind of takes a look over it, he says, anything in particular you're wanting done to it, or is it just, you're just in need of repairs?
I just need it to be a little stronger, if possible.
Well, can I take a look at it? He kind of holds his hands out as you kind of now pass it over to him. He says, yeah, it appears to be doable. I honestly don't have any other orders going on. I can perhaps get it done by midday tomorrow, if it's just some minor improvements you're looking for.
I look at the guys and be like, is that too long?
I would rather see you safe than getting hurt because we rushed something like this. However, excuse me, perhaps, well, I don't know how long it's been since you've fired up your whatever, forge?
Well, I mean, I did use it every day in whatever that was.
It was a dream, unfortunately.
Yes. So I feel practiced, but I being actually here and everything being a bit unused, I don't know, it feels strange. I'm just getting reacquainted.
And that's fine. But we have important things to get to. More lives that need to be saved and more evils that need to be stopped. The fastest you can get this done, the absolute fastest, that would help immensely. Probably save lots of lives too.
He kind of like takes a peek up to see roughly where the sun is. It's kind of cool. It's hard to tell the time a little bit, but I mean, it's early enough in the day. I might can finish by the end of today. I don't want to rush too much because I don't want to ruin. I mean, this is a fine set of armor. I don't want to ruin it.
The end of the day sounds fine.
Is there anything you need?
You see as he kind of looks around, kind of digs through a few of the various crates, and you see the various different supplies. I mean, it's all still here. Nothing should have gone bad over time, thankfully. It may take me a little bit to kind of sift through it and get the rust off of some things, but I think I'll be okay. If there's anything else you be needing to have worked on, I'll do what I can. I just don't know. You seem to be on a little bit of a time crunch here, so
I think that should be fine. Unless, Mercy, you have anything?
I'm gonna save it for when we're the nearest not broken town.
That said, if there's anything, my skills at enchanting are not great, but if there's anything in particular you want to add to it, I mean, I don't have much in the way of enchanting components, but if you had any you wanted me to add to it, I can certainly
How much
try
would that cost?
Well, I'll be honest, I'm kind of making sure this still works the way I think it does, so I'm not gonna charge you anything as long as well, first customer's back in the real world. I don't you say you saved us, so I think you deserve it.
What's your name?
My name is Alec.
Alec. Well, we will tell people your generosity and hopefully skill when we set out. It's very kind.
Appreciate it. I suspect we shall be needing the word spread that, well, you know.
You're back.
Yes, we are. I think. Well,
I can't think of anything. Dragathil, if you don't have anything in mind, then maybe he could surprise you.
Yeah.
To give you some context, we're heading into the Vale, and there are some
I
Let's
carry
be
a
very
great
creative.
axe,
I see that.
so I get real close.
Right. I'll do what I can. Let me dig around, see if any of my other components might be tucked away somewhere. I'll see what I can do.
And then I'm gonna rummage through my bag and pull out
Okay.
my holy symbol and ask, do you know a way that I could attach this to my axe?
It shouldn't be too much trouble if you want to leave it with me. I can certainly give it a shot.
Cool.
Okay.
I just put it in. Thanks.
All right. So, Dragathiel leaving her armor, holy symbol, and her main weapon.
Yep. What could go wrong?
The rest of the day, what else are you guys doing then as you leave him
Looking-
to his task?
Looking for an alchemist or an herbalist, something along those lines, for potions.
Um,
I'm gonna go along with.
Sure. As you guys begin kind of looking around, same sort of area. It's not too far off. You do manage to find what appears to be kind of what would have been an alchemist's shop. It's currently vacant. You don't see anybody inside. You do see potions, at least a couple, kind of stacked on the shelves, as you can barely kind of peek through this rather dusty window. You go to try and wipe as much of it clean as you can. It is still a little musty. You don't see any light coming from inside, but there are shelves and glass bottles.
I'll knock before trying the door.
Okay. You kind of go up and rap a few times. As you sit and wait, there is no response. As you kind of push the door open, it apparently being unlocked. You look around inside. You don't see anyone. You don't hear anything. It looks as though the shop was just left untended.
Well, I don't think that they're hurt. The village people that are. But we might need potions for this trip. And as much as I don't condone taking things, we could always leave money if we wanted to, which I feel would be the best option. Are these
That's
labeled?
fair.
A good number of them are. A good number of them are missing.
Mhm.
As you see even on the floor as you kind of step your way around now, this, as you can imagine in your head what the scene must have looked like as the town began to have this dark presence sweep down over it. It looks as though a lot of looting happened. There are still a few potions around, but there are also, you see shattered glass all over the floor, decades old, but having remained untouched since then. But sure, go ahead and roll me an investigation check.
And
Yes.
I just want to look around.
Sure.
That-
You
that-
go
See
ahead
what
and
there is.
go ahead and roll an investigation as well.
I
Then.
was like, I just want to look.
I
Because
got
I
it.
was thinking, I was like, if it's a high up shelf, then I'm definitely standing on a countertop at this point already. Like they glance over and I'm up there just like, they kind of owe us. It's fine.
Right.
I got a 2.
Okay.
So I can see everything.
Mercy,
I got
did you want to look?
5.
Yeah, I'm looking with it.
I should have just left it at 2 out of 5. But Mercy, go ahead.
13.
13.
That's an acceptable number.
As you guys look around, a lot of the glass has been shattered and broken. You do see a few potions that are out. Some of them appear to have gone bad over the years. However, kind of a few that have been knocked over or misplaced. Like you go over to the section, you're kind of reading the different labels. There's a section that says health potions. You don't immediately see any there. You gather that might have been one of the first things to go. As you look a little further, there is, you do find kind of on the floor, there is what appears to be, from your experience, it looks like a health potion. And then behind you kind of, as you kind of like move some of the debris out of the way, you do find what appears to be a second similar looking potion, a little bit darker. Kind of reminding reminding the two of you very much of the greater healing potion that you had found when browsing Lady Andalia's wares in her alchemy chamber.
Us.
Well, people in your
Browse.
party. when people in your party were browsing and
Browsing.
like going down and just scooping
Browsing.
into their bag. Yeah, you do manage to. It looks from your recollection like a healing potion and a greater healing potion. You do see a few other potions lying around. You don't know what they're for at a glance.
Yeah.
It just depends on if you're willing to take them. You find about 4 other potions that appear to be not destroyed or have gone bad. But looking at them, it's a little difficult to tell exactly what they do. And also, who's taking which potion, by the way? Which of those? Who's putting them in their inventory?
Them two can take them.
Them two, okay.
Them's two, because
I
I
wanted
care
the
about their
random
health.
ones.
You can take the random ones too. I don't
Can
care.
I have all the random ones?
I don't know,
But,
Mercy.
Sure.
Unless Mercy wants some of them.
But as your babysitter, I need to make sure.
I get your baby.
I'm only joking. I'm just your guide.
Okay. So, as you take a look at the rest of these potions, what you first see, you see one it looks like it's empty at first as you go walking up to it, and as you kind of like stop and do a double take, it appears as though it's just an extremely clear liquid. At the very top of the liquid, there appears to be like little bits almost of what appear to be tiny clouds or something hovering at the top of the bottle. As you kind of like swish it around and take a look at it, it doesn't look as though it's gone bad. It seems as that one's still good. You do see another potion outside of that that as you kind of walk by, as you kind of swirl it around, itself almost looks like kind of a hazy mist inside. This one's in a bit larger of a bottle. It looks as though probably 3 separate people could maybe get uses out of this one. Let me see. What were the other 2?
I'm getting real excited.
So excited. The other one, the third one, as you kind of now dig around looking behind the counter, you find one kind of behind a stack of papers, and it appears to be a little bit, we'll say it's fairly clear still, but as you kind of swirl it around, it looks as though there's bits of like salt or soot or something kind of at the bottom, but as you swirl it, it kind of, you see as they kind of disperse into the liquid, and you swear that they almost look like bits of text for a moment before they kind of begin to settle back down to the bottom.
A precipitate.
On another kind of small shelf behind the counter, you do find another potion that appears to be kind of have an orange glow to it, and as you kind of your hands touch it, it's a little warm to the touch. But at a
Oh, that's the one I'm gonna throw at an enemy's face. I know it.
As you kind of pick it up and look at it, it kind of, as you swirl it, you see it kind of flicker, like giving off a little extra light. As you do that, you notice almost like how you'll see carbonation, like bubbles when you do a lot of other liquids. You see like bits of smoke kind of rise to the top as you kind of swirl it around. But at least at a cursory glance, this is what you guys were able to find. You might be able to find more if you spend extra time here, but it's up to you guys.
I'd be careful swirling that around. It doesn't look very stable.
Yeah, I'll put it away. Just put it in my bag.
What's the normal given value of a potion anyways? I feel like we should not just...
Yeah, you know, I was gonna ask you what I should tip this guy since he said he's gonna do it for free. I'm really bad with this whole money thing.
Well, most of my equipment I ended up making, and the few pieces that I didn't, usually had fairly decent price as I've scavenged together the materials to make it.
Mercy, do you remember how much those potions were?
I have no idea.
Okay, I'm going to like go behind the counter.
Okay.
Is there like a place where it looks like money?
Maybe
is
like a gold?
Go ahead
I
and
don't know.
Price tags on any of the bottles?
roll
Price tag.
just roll me a general intelligence check, Finvir. Probably
Price check.
you press
19.
Ding ding ding. 19. In your travels, health potions are not inexpensive. The lower end health potions, depending on like what sort of place you're in, could go anywhere from 25 to 50 gold, just depending on how rare it is or how posh the place is, that sort of thing. Greater healing potions, they go ahead and jump up usually to the probably like 150 to 300 range, depending on... It just depends. If you find a really good deal, you can get them around 100, but usually you know that a lot of places charge a good bit for these. They do, as I want to remind the players, magically heal you instantly, saving you from death.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that people always take for granted, but I'm like, it's literally closing your wounds.
No, honestly, no. It's well,
I don't even know who had that one in their inventory is the worst part.
Well, I don't think I have enough for both of
Wasn't
these,
me.
but
Wasn't me.
I can leave everything I have, and hopefully that'll be enough.
I feel like I don't know if you should leave everything you have. I just-
don't know.
I mean, will they even?
In the months that I've spent in the forest, the only time I've made a purchase was when I was with you all. And other than that, gold and other currency doesn't really weigh much to me in terms of how valuable it really is.
Well, more power to
Do
you.
what you want to do, friend.
I'm just trying to do the right thing.
I respect that.
And I'll put all of my monies down.
Okay, how much gold is that for reference?
86 gold.
Okay.
4 silver and 1 copper.
Wow.
I'm broke. You're just like, I want that.
Yeah.
I know how it is. I know how it is.
It's funny how broke this particular group is.
But now you
know
never
why
give
we're
us
broke?
money.
Because you made us go through that stupid portal that cost us
Yeah.
all our money.
We're always in places that
You were
never
like,
give us money. Okay.
You want to go through this
Oh, I'm
portal?
sorry
It's
that
gonna
you
cost
just
you
got-
400 gold pieces. What?
I'm sorry, you just got free
broke.
potions and armor.
Hey, they were free.
I'm not broke at all.
Thank
I'm
you very
very far
much.
from broke.
Yeah,
We
Mercy's
paid
doing
for
pretty,
them.
pretty
I'm
well.
very far from broke.
Wow,
We'll be okay.
apparently
We'll be
Mercy's
okay.
loaded. Okay,
La-di-da.
well, then shit.
We'll be okay.
Hi,
like-
I'm Mercy. I have money. Ha ha ha.
It's like Marok in the other campaign. I think he has like 700 gold or something.
No, he has over 1,000. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, and he
That's
was
funny.
gonna fucking sell that diamond.
It's like he
Oh,
likes
I
money, man.
I
So
would have killed the motherfucker.
as you guys,
I've spent a lot too. That's the thing too. I've spent a lot of money and I still have a bunch.
so are you guys doing anything else in the shop, or are you gonna head out?
I'll
we
leave a
spot-
note. saying-
I'm just walking out.
Okay.
Just
Did
walk.
we spot now?
Oh.
If I wanted to buy, so if I wanted to not have it altered, if I wanted to buy armor,
Yes.
did we notice any specific armory, or would I go back to the forge guy?
Roll me another investigation check.
Can I ask you a general question also?
Go ahead.
14.
I know we talked about some other stuff that we don't really keep track of. My javelins, I have been keeping track of.
Okay.
Do I need to be keeping track of those?
I could, for as long as you are keeping track of them, I would assume at the end of battles you're able to pick most of them up, depending on how the battle goes. Some of them you have to leave.
man.
Well, crap.
It's not a huge deal.
What about the dream?
I mean, I
javelin?
haven't used very many of them. It's just like, if I had known I could pick them up, I probably would have used them more often.
Right. Yeah.
Earlier.
You can
Earlier.
pick them back up. The
All right, cool.
javelins
Then-
aren't prohibitively expensive, but yeah, they are a little cumbersome to carry a bunch of. So you probably would retrieve the ones you've used.
Yeah.
Have a bunch of spikes coming out of
I
your
don't
back,
even
like,
remember
yep,
how
this is
many
me.
I started with. Is the
We'll
well.
say we'll just go ahead and say how many do you have right now?
5.
Let's say you have 5 then, and we'll leave it at that for now.
Yeah,
if
no,
you were-
that's what I think.
if
Why
you-
am I picturing you holding like bundled, just like holding them, walking around like,
Yeah.
As you make your way around town, we'll say if you were missing any, you've been able to replenish them here. Basic
Cool.
stuff won't be too hard to find.
Cool beans, cool beans.
Yes.
Maybe it'll come in handy if there's like a giant and they need toothpicks, and she's like, "Here you go. I have 5 of them."
Well, you know, I speak giant, so I'm ready.
There you go.
Or they need to eat sushi and they're just using nice chopsticks.
Oh, you mean my spleen? Great.
Mm.
All right. So Mercy, you got a 14. You said.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You take a look around. I mean, you gather somewhere in the city. There probably is like the perfect set of armor. You do make your way back to the forge area, just to see if maybe there's a shop there that you missed or one that had not been opened yet. As you look around, you see a few people with their wares. Most of what's left does not look like it's going to fit you. As you kind of ask around with the various different people, they give you quotes on how long it would take to make something. But as far as like getting brand new armor, yeah, it's going to be a little difficult to find something for you at this stage.
We shall wait.
How much time do we have now?
How much time do you have right now?
I mean, before I need to go back.
Yeah,
to pick up
it's
my
a little
stove.
past midday. You probably have the better part of 5-6 hours.
Wow.
Our sleep
Okay.
schedules are gonna be so fucked. Goddamn.
So, could I use identify to find out what those potions are?
Do you? Oh, you have identify now?
Yeah, and I
Then
can use it
yes.
as a ritual too.
Yes, you can. So you guys, sure, you guys take a minute to take a short rest and find a bite to eat as Dragathiel begins going over the various different potions to identify them. So it is, in fact, a potion of healing and a greater healing potion. Amongst the other 4 potions, you find a potion of flying, a potion of comprehension, a potion of fire breath,
Oh,
and
don't throw that at people.
a potion of gaseous form that has 3 uses. Yes,
Cool.
with that face.
Those are some
The
good
last
potions.
one?
Yeah, gaseous form.
Gaseous,
Like,
yeah, gaseous form.
What should
gaseous,
that
gaseous.
mean?
Yeah.
Basically, you get to use, it gives you a use of the spell gaseous form, which allows you to turn into basically a cloud and fly around and stuff.
Yep.
I
She's
think
like, I always
it's-
wanted to be a cloud.
I was wondering, cloud.
I think it's
You're
for
like-
an hour. Let me see.
You like drink it,
Uh,
you're like, look, I'm on cloud 9.
Yes.
The esports.
Your
team.
your movement speed is only 10 feet, though. Like, as you turn into this gaseous cloud,
Okay.
you can enter and occupy the space of another creature. You have resistance to non-magical damage, and you have advantage on strength, dexterity, and constitution saving throws. The target can pass through small holes, narrow openings, and even mere cracks, though it treats liquid as though it were a solid surface. You cannot fall, and you remain hovering in the air even when stunned or otherwise incapacitated. While in the form of a misty cloud, the target can't talk or manipulate objects, and any objects it was carrying or holding can't be dropped, used, or otherwise interacted with. You can't attack or cast spells. So it's basically just a way to get around. And you, in order to transform in and out of this gaseous form state, let's see. Does it say how long you have to concentrate? It says 1 action to cast it. So yeah, I would assume then that it would be an action to dismiss it.
Okay. I found them all and added them to my
All right,
inventory.
sounds good. So, very
Oh,
good.
also,
Yes.
I'm gonna take the lesser healing potion and give Mercy the greater one.
Okay. Very good.
That is so kind. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Well, okay. In the bag.
So, Mercy, additionally, as you look around, you gather that most of the people in this town, given where you are from, you know that the armor you are wearing is of a very fine material, and that if you find the right people, the right enchanters, you could potentially enchant the armor you have been wearing or have it modified in some way. Whereas a lot of the more basic armors a lot of people might wear would be a little more difficult because of the background you are from. Yours is of a bit higher quality.
Can I seek out one of these enchanters? in this
Sure.
town, or at least find one?
I'm gonna make you do
information
one
on
more investigation check then.
Then investigate we shall.
With
Okay.
advantage?
Are you helping?
Yeah, I mean,
Sure, with advantage.
It's very much needed. 16.
16.
okay, that's good.
It does take you a little bit longer, but you do eventually stumble across what appears to be an enchanter, like a small shop. As you kind of make your way inside, you do see the kind of the face of an elderly man, kind of deep with wrinkles, and this kind of long white beard kind of trailing off past his stomach. Around the shop, running around, you can see as he's kind of just watching with this keen eye from far away, seemingly himself undisturbed by whatever had gone on inside the nightmare. But you see a kind of moppy-haired, brown-haired, small halfling kind of like trotting back and forth, like grabbing things from around the workshop, trying to get things back in order as he's just kind of, you see him kind of pointing and giving the occasional word on where to move things. As he notices you all come in, he says, "Ah, yes, it is about time our customers started returning. How may I help you?"
Hi, my name is Mercy.
It is nice to meet you, Mercy. My name is Vernak, and this is my shop. I hope that you find it to your liking. After recent events, we have a bit of tidying up to do, but I think in short order we shall have everything back in tip-top shape.
We hope that we helped out enough that you can have customers coming in here as fast as possible.
Oh, I certainly hope so. So it was the three of you then that ended this ridiculous nightmare.
Ridiculous is one way of putting it. Terrifying is what other people might call it.
He kind of gives you a
Nightmarish.
bow. Well, then you have my thanks. So, how may I assist you today?
I'm looking to have my armor here enchanted in a way.
Enchanted, yes.
I'm looking.
May I see it?
Sure.
As you take it off, he kind of hands it to him. He says, "Oh, this is of very nice make. Out of Svelton, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, nice
You have a
material.
good eye.
Yes, it's surprised me a bit. Haven't seen any of this in some time, even before all of this happened. So, absolutely, this should be no problem. What sort of enchantment or effect would you like this to have?"
Well, initially, I'm thinking. Well, look, the biggest issue with the armor is that it's clunky, it's heavy, and I find it difficult to be stealthy and agile with it, which has sort of become an important aspect of my adventuring. And so I wanted to know if there's anything that could be done in regards to that, if it means
Oh,
altering the armor in any way, or at least enchanting it to assist with that.
certainly.
Or-
There,
What do you recommend?
this should be no problem. In fact, probably one of the easier enchantments to apply to such a set of armor. I don't see why it should be any trouble whatsoever. If there are any additional effects, I can certainly
Yeah,
look at applying those as well.
I know a thing or two about fabrics and qualities in their make, but I know very little about enchanting. So, as somebody who seems to be very knowledgeable in that field, what do you recommend? What do you think would be useful
Well-
for an adventurer that's...
It has been a long
Awesome.
time since I myself have been adventuring, but I would say it needs to be suited to however it is that you do your adventuring.
I fight with a rapier, with rapiers, and then I unsheath the cursed rapier. I've grown very fond of this weapon, and I find myself in close quarters, using a lot of movement and acrobatic maneuvers to position myself in a way that can allow this weapon to do what it does best.
I see. Well, I can think of a few very fun things for one such as yourself. What sort of timeline are we talking about?
What's our turning to the group? What is our maximum time frame here? Because I'm excited about this.
I mean, I would think someone of talent can get it done today, right?
Ooh.
Anything can be done with the right amount of Ethereum and gold, of course.
Gold's no problem. Now, Ethereum, is that something that would be a limiting factor for you?
I have some still in my possession. I could do this by later this evening, sure. However, Ethereum, unless something has changed since we were asleep, is a very, very rare material. I would, of course, love to give you a discount as you have apparently saved our city, but I cannot do this for free.
I didn't expect that you would. I think anything worth having is worth paying for. So.
Well then, to do this, I can do it at cost. He kind of takes another look as he glances over the armor. Even still, to have it done in such a time frame, probably going to run you 400 gold in Ethereum cost.
It's a big oof.
I'm going to twirl my ring,
Of course you are.
and I'm going to
Oh.
convince. It's a steep price. Even with the discount, I have to admit, that's more than I expected. That's actually more than I admittedly have on my person right now. I can offer you gold, but I'm going to have to also offer you something in addition. What can I what
How much are you
anything else you'd
missing?
accept? Well, you have nothing.
Well, no, but I did leave my money.
More than you left.
Gotcha.
I don't know. Do you have anything interesting?
I think I do. But I don't want to give it
I would
up.
be happy to see it then.
I don't want to give it up. I like it. Could have offered a helmet if I still had it.
Oh, damn.
While he's doing this, are the two of you doing anything else?
I'm looking around, just kind of like perusing, browsing all the stuff, seeing if there's anything interesting.
In this shop in particular, or?
Yeah, in the shop in particular.
Sure. As you take a glance around the shop, go and roll me a, we'll just call it perception check for this one.
Oh, thank you. You were kind. 27. I told you, you are kind.
As you look around this shop, you see that a lot of the, it's constructed a bit more sturdily than a lot of the other buildings. Its walls made of stone. It does appear that the hefty front door may have kept a lot of the looters out of this place in particular, at least while they were running in fear for their lives. There does appear to be a decent amount of supplies still left in here. There are a few kind of hung up on the wall, a few different types of weapons and pieces of gear. You see a small section that appears to have various different arrows and bolts. You see another section that appears to contain like daggers and things like that. A lot of them are smaller, kind of slightly more expendable, like ammunition type things that are kept in stock, but you do also see on the wall kind of a large greatsword and a few other like short swords and small things, but there only appear to be a couple of each of those, mainly perhaps as demonstration purposes. You gather, kind of looking around, that certainly, while these shops love doing things like that, they probably make a killing off of things like selling
Yeah.
arrows that break or things that get lost.
I'm going to approach the man.
Okay.
Listen, we've been through quite a bit, and unfortunately there's no gold to be had killing evil jinns. But I do have a source of money and even power. And if you could do this for us, and possibly even throw in, for kindness, something to be put on my bow, and I'll take off my ring, and I'll put it up, be like, you need to go, if you go ever to the Vale, say that Anne Renelle, she commissioned this, and you'll get paid 5 times as much as it's worth. We're in a dire need of this thing, of all of these things.
He kind of takes a look down at it. How do I know that I will not be me, or whoever I were to send would not just be killed on sight? The Vale is not the most friendly place for outsiders, and this signet ring here appears to be a bit personal.
Anybody seeing that there's a ring, they won't kill on sight. They'll be more curious as to how you got it. And when you say that my mother commissioned this work, I think she'd know who it's from, and she'll vouch for you. She's kind.
If you have connections in the Vale, perhaps instead you could agree to set up a line of trade for me. I assume I shall be needing as many avenues as I can get, given the state of our city.
That's something that can be done. And upon that, we have avoided this.
You agreed very quickly, Elf. Listen. I wish specifically to have monthly shipments of wood from the elder trees shipped to me.
Elder trees. What them about?
There are several trees at the core of the Vale that, and the two of you wouldn't know this, but Finveer, you were even a little surprised that this man knows of this. You kind of look at him, see his age, don't know where he picked up the information and his travels or over his years, but these elder trees are considered the kind of the core of the Vale from which all other life sprang, thousands of years ago. At least that's how the elves tell it. They do occasionally take the branches that fall and they turn those into some very powerful weapons, but it is difficult to acquire as they don't drop branches often. When they do, they are large and they're usually turned into various different things for the city, or occasionally as bows for some of the royal guard or people like that, to really give them kind of a step up, as the wood itself not only seems to carry magical properties, but it seems to take it very well, take them very well as well. Not many outsiders are granted access to this.
That is a tall order. And my name is Finveer.
Well, Finveer, I should very much like to acquire some of the Elderwood, and if that is doable, I would be happy to do quite a bit for you.
There's no way of knowing if they'll agree to it, but I can try.
Might I add, I can be pretty persuasive. I can help in that arena.
Well then, how about this? Finveer, we shall draw up a contract. I shall bind it with your blood, and should you fail to fulfill said contract, I shall call on you in the very near future.
Can I insight?
Sure, go ahead.
I don't... Natural 20, 27.
He's being serious. He's
Yeah, but I mean, like, in the terms of this contract, it's
Yes.
magical, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. He is not hiding that. He's intending to have this contract in place. You gather the idea being behind it. He would probably be passing the contract off to a bounty hunter or someone similar, assuming that you did not fulfill your end of the deal.
Like to see them try. Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
yeah. I'll take a moment. Very well, and I'll sign it.
Okay. As you guys kind of finish writing this up, you see as he kind of takes a small prick of your blood and you give it a quick signature, and he does as well. The contract now, you see as he has a mage hand summoned, and it kind of holds it up in the air, showing it to all of you as witnesses, and then as it collapses down, it poofs. He says, "Very well. So, how can I help you then, Finvir of the Vale?"
Finvir Duskvale, and I'll put my my bow down.
Okay.
Do whatever upgrades you see necessary, but it has to be fast and it has to be powerful. We're fighting some very nasty things.
I see. And are we attempting to fit this in the same timeline as your friend's gear?
I shouldn't see how that would be an issue. I mean, it is some amazing wood you're going to be getting. Gotta get that wood.
Going to be receiving some great gear.
Some great wood, okay?
So-
I was trying to think how to word that, and it did not come.
That didn't work.
Nope, that was the right way to word that.
You nailed it. So, he kind of glances over. You see, as he looks at his kind of journeyman, he says, "Even with my considerable talents, it may be difficult, but..." He says, "Perhaps with some help, we can still get this thing done by the end of the day, or at the very least, early morning. I have a feeling he will not be needing sleep, as we've been sleeping for some time. Plus, he does
Can I
love
add,
his job."
Can I add one thing?
Sure.
I'm gonna pull that rainbow feather that I got out of my bag, present that, and ask, are there in properties of this feather that could be imbued into this armor in some capacity, or is it something worth saving? I'm not sure if it's of what it can do.
As he kind of takes a look at the feathers, you hand it over to him. He takes kind of gingerly with both hands. You see as he kind of reflects it in the light. "Yes, perhaps I could use this. I have a few ideas. You would be wanting it applied to your armor, then?"
I'm gonna set down my rapier on the counter
Okay.
and ask if it's something that could be applied to that instead.
He kind of takes a closer look at the rapier sitting on the counter. I think I've been alive too long to meddle with something like this. I think that it could be done, but it would take a significant amount of time. If you want to give me a month with it, I perhaps could, but I'm not going to rush a job on something that might kill me.
I'm going to take both back, the rapier and the feather. I appreciate the information. I may be back to request that you do that at some time, but a month is a time frame we don't have to give to this. So.
I see. And what did you actually end up rolling for your ring, by the way? Because you never told me.
I never said anything.
You never finished it?
I got interjected by Fenvir, and Fenvir convinced him. So I let
Fenvir
him know.
convinced him to help with his stuff.
No, I said with both things.
Yeah, he said
It's
with our stuff. He said everything.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. Very good. Then
Because I was,
go
I
ahead.
was ready. I was ready to set up trade routes this whole. You know?
Can I see any like smaller throwable weapons that I would be interested in?
Which small throwable weapons are you proficient with?
I don't know.
I imagine
Probably none.
I imagine hand axes and javelins. Outside of that, I don't know if you'd be proficient with darts or daggers. Let's take a look. See. At Dragathiel. Oh, I didn't. You know what? I also nobody ever told me to change the extension, so it's showing the wrong party, which isn't a huge deal because nobody's fighting right now. But I'm going to change that real quick. Campaign. This one. Okay. Boom. Fixed. Okay. So, Dragathiel. Let's see what weapons you are proficient with. Should be, I think, on the bottom left of your character sheet if you have not looked yet. Weapons. Martial weapons and simple weapons.
Yeah, that's all it says.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure hand axe and javelin are on there. With martial weapons, you might actually. Let's find out. Before I speak out of turn.
Okay.
You do see a lot of weapons around, yeah. Martial ranged weapons. All right. Let's see. Hand axes. Those are fine. Those are simple. Simple ranged. Martial ranged. So, okay. That includes blowguns, crossbows, like a hand crossbow and a heavy crossbow. Includes a longbow and a net.
A net.
A net has come in
I've
handy.
been caught in a net before. Shit.
It's good.
Hot.
Simple Okay, simple
Worst.
ranged weapons include light crossbow, dart, shortbow, and sling. So that is up to you.
Sling.
So Dragathiel, what are you interested in?
Yeah, darts.
Okay. Sure. He can go ahead and give you darts. In particular, all of his are enchanted. He doesn't have a ton, but he's willing to give you 2 pouches of them, and each one has a specific effect.
Okay.
They are going to be only 2 pouches of 5, so they're kind of smaller.
Okay.
But and I'll have to add these to your inventory in just a little bit.
Okay.
One of them deals additional fire damage.
Ooh.
And the other ones are just +1 darts.
Okay.
So just note that down, and we'll go over that with you later. Add it to your inventory. So, having finished extorting the citizens in their time of need,
Hey, they're fine right now. Actually, if you think about it,
They're
It
alive.
would have been stuck forever.
it's not like they
Okay.
just got like out of a huge fight. They were sleeping. It's all mental problems. We can't deal with that.
I double slept.
It's beyond our pay grade.
It's way beyond our pay grade.
so
Of 0.
Have zero goal, which is why we're doing this.
anything else you guys would like to do before you wrap up the evening?
Nope, just kind of like
I just want to, pick my
relax
stuff up.
it and realize that we were so close to dying.
Sure. Are you guys going to return to the same tavern from earlier that I believe you stopped at? You all kind of
Yeah, we could head there.
I just want to thank what's his name,
Vernac?
Vernac. Just before we leave, I feel like it just was very standoffish. Thank you.
Didn't we?
Did we leave
Don't-
already? Can I
No.
scream it?
No, I was just like, didn't we tell Alec that we would be back that evening?
Mhm.
Was
Yeah,
it?
we can go when it's that evening.
Okay, cool. I don't know.
Yeah, we're not gonna forget your stuff. It's like I feel like we're forgetting something. As she's like in common
not.
clothes and like she has like a stick. I'm ready.
I'm ready. Okay, so very good.
Bum bum.
Absolutely. Okay. So, are you guys just kind of killing time, grabbing food and stuff until you head back to Alec?
Yeah, kind of just like wandering the streets now that it's not in a shroud of darkness and death and decay and demons. A lot of D words.
Yes. Because it's devious.
It's D&D after
It's
all.
D&D. Yeah, so things you do see, much as you have been, just people going about cleaning up. You see a few of them kind of chatting and looking at the sky. They still appear to be quite shaken, but doing their best to live in the reality that is actually real now. As you guys wait later into the evening, as the sun begins to wane in the sky, kind of disappearing behind the horizon, you do make your way back over to Alec, who, as you now enter the shop, you see as he's kind of like shining up the bits of plate on the armor. It looks pretty shiny and new. As you kind of go to take a look at it, Dragathi says, just getting done. I think we did good.
Awesome.
As he kind of now hands it over to you, you take a look at the armor, and it doesn't appear to be extremely different. You do notice, though, bits of it have been kind of thickened up, but as you go to lift it, it doesn't feel any heavier. You notice, now taking a look at your axe as well, the holy symbol is now kind of, you see it kind of being fused in the axe head, kind of on either side. And it, as you kind of like go to feel it, it feels almost as if it had always been there.
Mm.
He appears to have done very good work, because I rolled really well. And
Yay.
it does seem like he's done a good job, especially for having not charged you anything.
Awesome.
So I can,
I mean,
yeah. What?
I mean, yeah, no, you're absolutely right. For like not having charged anything,
Yeah.
pretty good job, honestly.
With that in mind, I'll add your upgraded armor to your inventory.
Okay.
Let me see.
Getting some armor.
I'm just trying to make a list of all the stuff I've got to do. I'll do it during the break because I don't want to have to do it all right now, and we'll go over effects and things then. So we'll say you've picked that up. Anything else you are doing there, or just going to go ahead and go? I'll just assume you guys are making a rounds for brevity, going ahead and picking up all of your stuff.
Before we leave the Alec the blacksmith,
Yes.
I'm just gonna tell him thank you and I just tell him like I know it's not a lot, but thank you so much for like all your hard work and for getting this done so quickly for me. And I'm just gonna leave 10 gold pieces on the counter and leave.
He kind of gives you, and I thank you. I appreciate it. It's nice to begin to return to normalcy, and I wish you all luck on your travels and be safe. Kind of gives a
We'll
bow.
try to be.
So as you guys now heading back towards the shop where you left Vernac, it's kind of grown later in the evening. You go to check by once, and it looks as though they're still working. You go back a little later in the evening, and it does appear that they have at least mostly concluded their work as you enter. So, Mercy's armor and your bow. Let me see. I feel like there's a third thing. Was there?
I mean, if you want there to be, sure.
No, he was going to give his rapier, but he ended up not. Okay, I just want to make sure I didn't forget anything.
Yeah.
As you take a look now, Mercy, at your armor, it appears largely unchanged. You kind of glance over it, and you do see kind of a small inlaid inscription, kind of going around different bits of parts of the kind of where the joints are. As you kind of go and give it a shake, you try it on, you try moving around. Seems to be significantly quieter. As you kind of like try and like make noise, it appears to have significantly lightened up, and the rubbing and the kind of any unwieldiness that had been in it now seems to be gone, which is pretty impressive given that it was already quite good. Additionally, he says, I did manage to add a little bit something extra. If you said you like to get up close, I figure you probably like to be a little faster. I think I think you'll like what you find. So as far as the armor is concerned, I'll add it to your inventory, but you will be able to cast the haste spell on yourself once per day. So that is that for you. Finveer, as you kind of pick up your bow, I believe it was already a +1.
Yes. No, but that have made it sorry, not made it. Would my bow had have been made of elderwood in the first place?
Yours would have.
Okay.
Being
That's where I had it
from your background.
Yeah.
I don't remember how much they know about you.
Yeah, that's fair.
Probably not enough. But yes, yours would have been made of elderwood. It is currently a +2 bow now.
Oh
So
shit.
you can go ahead and add that in there. Outside of that, you pick it up. It does appear to be better. It's the shortest way I can put it. I'm not going to. It's a bow that is better.
You do good work, and consider this practice for the elderwood that you'll be getting later. Fuck! I can't.
Jesus. Just kiss him already.
Can we change? No. Oh, fuck.
So, elderwood in hand.
Really seeing it for. I'm working that elderwood as best I can. You know.
Yeah,
Seeing it,
gotta try it with both hands.
yeah, seeing the strength of the shaft and making sure that it's all fine.
Yeah. I mean, you want it to bend, but not too much.
Not too much.
It's got to be a certain stiffness for it to be
exactly
to really put the. Anyway, okay, so
It's done.
we're done.
We're good.
As you guys go ahead and wrap up for the evening, with all of your new equipment in hand, is there anything else you'd like to do before leaving the town next day? We'll go ahead and, for brevity, just go ahead and wrap this up.
I am all set.
I did things.
Okay, as you guys
That should be good.
awaken the next morning, as you gather together, beginning to plan your trip back into the Vale, as you are currently east of it, having been teleported here. What are you guys doing?
Wait, yeah.
You know,
Ooh, I'm gonna manage my spells. I forgot.
Okay.
That's
for the
something
day.
important to do.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
I'm just gonna probably check around to see if anybody in the city needs any help. If they're good, they just kind of get them readjusted into no longer being in a hellish nightmare kind of thing.
You do your best. There's only so much you can do. You do help a few people with tasks. You see a couple people struggling to move or lift or moves, just things out of the way, get things cleaned off. You do your best to assist as you can as you walk your way through the streets in the early morning. I wouldn't say people are inconsolable, but they are certainly still in a bit of a state of confusion.
Yeah.
Trying to adjust back to the fact that they're not going to be attacked daily or have their, worst nightmares thrown at them on a whim. But you do manage to do your best. You get thanks as people see you and appreciate your help. A few people try to push small amounts of coin, not much, as they kind of try to hand you probably 5 gold total. It's just not much as they
I wouldn't take it.
Okay.
I have no use for it really.
Sure. The other two of you, what are you guys doing as Finveer makes his way back?
Do we know? We know that we're east of the Vale, but we don't know how far. Do we have any of that information?
Finveer would know. It's still going to take you guys a couple days, depending on how quickly you move, especially because you are on foot. The town itself, any cattle, horses, or otherwise that were here, they're not here anymore.
They weren't having dreams too?
No, it turns out they
Damn.
all
Have
either left
souls.
or were killed. So there's certainly wagons abound, but no horses, mules, or otherwise to pull them. So if you guys are heading back to the Vale from here, it is going to take a couple days on foot.
Yeah, I mean,
Seems like we have no choice.
it's I feel more comfortable in the forest, though. I'll be in my element, and we can all move quickly if I can guide you.
Yeah, I feel a little more agile already, anyways. So shouldn't be too bad.
That's the attitude. Plus, I want to leave this city as soon as possible. I do not like it here.
Yeah,
I don't know how these people can stay here.
That still creeps me out.
We were here for a few days. They've been here for years. And I get it. It's their home. But
Where are they gonna go?
pack up all my things and go anywhere but here if it were me.
And as you look around, I mean, a decent number of people appeared to be doing just that.
Yeah.
Some of them, you gather, either had no choice or were too stubborn to leave. Or others even seemed to see the opportunity in the rest of the people being gone or abandoning what they had. But for one reason or another, a good number of people are currently staying.
We'll get some rest, and in the morning we will leave bright and early, and it's gonna be a long travel. But I think we've gone through a lot worse for now. We should be fine.
Okay.
I jinxed it. Damn it.
I was about to say.
Sure, it'll be fine.
We're
So,
fine.
as you guys begin heading out the next day, you kind of leave through the gates to the west in the city, kind of a smaller exit there, as you see in the far distance what appears to be just the tippy tops of the trees from the Vale. It will take you guys a couple days to reach there, and then Finvir, you know that's just to reach the edge of the forest. From there, it's going to take probably a couple more days' journey in order to get back kind of to where you were going. So, you head out. The day largely clear. A few people kind of following you on the road from leaving town clearly. A lot of them, though, however, managed to fork off on a road that kind of heads more south, kind of beginning to skirt the Vale towards Asnildur and the mountains there. As you make your way, nothing in particular really stands out as you leave, except that a lot of the wildlife appears to be now kind of peeking its head back out, taking a look at the fields surrounding Aldoa, which themselves now appear to be coming back to life. A bit of greenery returning, even though winter draws close. Things now look certainly less dead than before, at the very least, giving you a little bit of a sense of hope for the people that remain. On the road, the road itself, pretty grown over a bit at this point. It's not terrible, but given that it has been 15 years since people traveled regularly to Aldoa, especially from the Vale, it's a little bit slow going, but it does appear that you are headed the right direction. So, anything you guys want to say, do, or prepare along the road as you approach?
Not particularly for me. I guess I'll just keep an eye out for any of those monstrous abominations and possibly even wildlife to like if we're along the way and we see something that can easily be taken out for food or something like that.
Okay. Yeah, just roll me your survival check then.
Survival is 16.
Okay. Along the way, you do manage to take out kind of it's kind of like a deer. I guess the best way I can describe it's a little bit smaller, kind of like I don't know if you've ever seen the deer, like the deer they have in Japan, but a little closer to that, like kind of a smaller, shorter deer. Enough for the three of you, certainly. And it manages to give you guys some nice warm food as you cook it over the fire, something a little different from the trail rations you're often used to. Making your way over the next 2.5 or 3 days, we'll say, depending on how hard you guys are pushing yourselves. You approach the edge of the forest, the Vale now kind of looming over you as the large trees Kind of, you see the wind kind of slowly moving them back and forth. However, as a lot of the trees that you passed along the way here, a lot of them seem to be preparing for winter, having dropped their leaves already. Most of the trees in the Vale still appear to be green. Even the ones that are not necessarily evergreen trees. As you kind of push now through the outer layer of the forest, kind of making your way into the trees and things, the scent of the forest now really beginning to fill all of your senses, Finbeer, making you feel a little more at home. However, you do feel just a tinge of the, like, just on the wind, a bit of the miasma, this taste you've kind of grown accustomed to as it blows a bit towards you. You know you're not super far, but it also worries you a bit how much it must have spread for you to be able to sense it all the way here. Currently, your direction, your destination, lies still a little bit further to your southwest. There may be a couple small settlements that are on the way, if you can find them. Most of them are going to be a little more private. You know that, Finveer. But otherwise, it may be a long, lonely trek over the next few days as you make your way through the forest.
No, just a reminder.
Yes.
If they're, as long as they're with me and I'm in the forest, we can all move at full speed.
Okay. I mean, even
Without it.
still.
No. I'm just
Okay.
saying it's going to take a few days, obviously. But
Yes, I did take that into account.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember Finveer's he's the best.
No, he's a
Fucking get it.
He's
ranger.
the speedy
Right.
boy.
I'm trying to hello.
George of the
I know.
Jungle over here.
I know.
Been taken into account.
As you now enter back into the woods, you do remember the last being you saw in the woods being who?
The Vexar,
Which is a...
green dragon.
Yes.
Oh, I pay attention.
You had told Jagathiel and Mercy about this.
Very briefly.
I
Vexar
knew
had,
it was a dragon.
Vexar had wished for you to retrieve your friends, which you have now returned without.
Without, I have them right there.
No, you don't. You, the three of you were to... Yeah, you have a couple of them, but you didn't return with all of them.
I mean,
As Ness and Alistair did not accompany you back.
Whatever. Can't win them all.
So, the actual lair of Vexar was towards the south, kind of where the trees of the Vale, kind of the border of the city there, meets the mountains of Asnel-Dur. You know that if you were to follow south and kind of follow along the tree line there, you would eventually reach that location. But outside of that, it is up to you what you would like to do.
That'd probably be the best place to go first.
All right.
I mean, because it's along the way to the miasma, right?
It would have you kind of skirting south of some of it.
Yeah.
Kind of, you could attempt to cut through if you wish. That is up to you.
Let's not do that. Not yet. Let's not spend any more time in the miasma than we need to.
Okay. Boring. Fucking wuss.
Bring it.
Sure. It's going to take you guys probably the better part of 3 or 4 days to make your way around down to there. Well, for brevity, we'll go ahead and kind of fast forward through that. I will say you had a few close calls as you make your way through, seeing the tracks of some creatures you're not entirely familiar with, but you gather they may have come from the miasma based on the direction of the tracks. It looks as though they they continued further ahead of you, kind of heading west, west and southwest, kind of the direction you were going for one reason or another. Go and roll me a survival check, actually, there, Finveer.
That is 25.
Okay. It looks as though, as you take a quick look around, you notice another set of a few different tracks, which had itself been heading east. But it looks as though at some point, those tracks then turned around and began to follow the tracks of whatever came out of the miasma. You see 3 distinct sets of footprints. One of them being of a smaller individual, the other one from what appears to be a very large individual, and the other one perhaps a normal-sized individual.
Would I recognize these tracks as possibly Brindley's?
You gather, looking at the size of the footprints, that it is entirely possible. And in fact, the fact that they are accompanied by this rather large set of footprints, which you gather may have been Ragnar, it seems certainly very possible. As you kind of glance around at these various sets of footprints, the third set doesn't immediately strike you as familiar. But as you inspect them, it seems as though kind of the depth of the footprints into the ground doesn't quite match the size of the foot, almost as if it was like a child wearing perhaps their parents' shoes or something similar. But a little difficult to gauge so far. You don't know who the third person could be if this is in fact them. But yeah, that definitely appears to be a possibility.
And how close are we to Vexar's lair, cave, domain?
From this point, you're still about another day and a half.
And these are fresh tracks.
They look like they perhaps have been there less than a day.
Well, I need to think for a moment. Oh, what am I doing? I promised Vexar that I'd bring you and show that I saved you or something. But these tracks show that they look like they could be Brindley's, and if she's here and she's in trouble, I can't put it off. We need to look for her. She can help with all this. If we have a chance at fighting any of this, which I don't know if we entirely do, but we're gonna try, then she's gonna need to help us. She's probably gonna be more than happy to do so. But I'm more than welcoming your inputs as well.
I mean, if you think they can help us, and plus, we're going into a pretty big fight, pretty short-handed. To be fair. Also, maybe they've heard something about Briarwood? Maybe I can find some stuff out? I don't know. If you think it's a good idea.
Anything is possible. Okay, we will go. I feel a little bad for not turning back to Vexar, but and I'll take out my Aya's totem.
Okay.
And I'll be like, maybe I can show that I'm back. Aya, do you think you can fly there fast enough to get there before you have to return here?
As Aya kind of looks at you and kind of let you see as she kind of gives her wings a big stretch and then just heads off.
Well, that should at least hold him over a little bit. You won't be able to talk to Aya, I don't think, but it'll at least show that we're on the same plane of existence.
Okay. Very good. So as the end of this day draws to a close, you all kind of sitting up around camp. I need a moment alone with Mercy.
I don't like this.
Very scared, and I feel like I'm in trouble.
You are. Okay,
All right.
bye.
Bye. So, as you kind of settle in for the evening, taking your watch, you kind of sit with your rapier kind of laid across your hands in your lap, kind of staring at it, taking a glance at the fire, looking kind of wistfully, just kind of meditating and thinking for a bit. The sword itself, you don't know that anyone else has noticed so far. But the kind of blade of the rapier, as you now have become very, very familiar with it, it looks as though the blade has almost developed tiny serrations along it. You don't know when exactly this happened, but you first noticed it sometime after the curse had been lifted from Aldua, after a few of the fights you had. As you take a look at the sword, this cursed blade that's so long now kind of held sway over you to some extent, you begin to kind of focus and lean into it a little bit. And you hear the voice reappear once again. Yes, Mercy, I think we are headed in the right direction. However, I am still so very hungry, and together we can do so much more. What are you willing to do?
What do you need me to do?
I still hunger greatly. We must feed and grow closer.
Who do
So
you
that
need me to
way,
kill?
when the time comes, we shall be enough in sync to do what must be done. As you kind of now look at the sword in your hand, the voice kind of begins to fade. As you feel, though, the sword itself, having grown significantly kind of closer to you in a way that you're not quite understanding at this point. However, as you look at the other sword, the other rapier that lies on your belt, you pick it up for the first time ever. Since getting your cursed rapier, it suddenly feels a little lighter, whereas it had been giving you some trouble ever since you first acquired this latest rapier that has been talking to you. You got the sense that it was jealous, but now, having grown accustomed to you, it appears as though your bond has strengthened, and you are no longer going to take disadvantage rolls with your offhand weapon. So, just so you know, that is... you no longer have to do that, so we can go ahead and have them put their ears back on.
Hey, look, I can hear again. It's wonderful.
Very good. So, as the night comes to an end, the three of you awaken the next day. A little bit of the cool air kind of blowing through the trees, kind of nipping at you, especially the bit that does manage to kind of scoop down over the mountains, carrying a bit of the cold air with it. Anything you guys would like to do on this particular day?
Other than continuing to track.
That's what I was gonna say. Other than that, because I'm gonna have you roll for survival on that.
Yep.
Either of the other two of you, though, as you are now following Finveer as he begins tracking these sets of footprints.
I guess I'd probably be a little bit more quiet than usual, but that's like Finveer already is pretty quiet for the most part. But yeah.
Just so we're all aware, I'm in summer face step mode.
Okay.
Ooh.
Good to know. Thank you.
Want me to roll that survival?
Yes, go and roll me a survival check, Finveer.
That is a 23.
23, very good. You managed to keep pace following the tracks, only losing them for just a moment. If it's who you think it is, neither of the two that you know are the best at doing things quietly anyways.
Yeah.
So they don't appear to be doing the best at concealing their tracks, if that was ever their intention.
Mm-hmm.
The only place you do lose them for just a moment is as you approach kind of a small stream, which it looks as though they kind of followed a little further inland, a little further into the forest itself. Not far, maybe a quarter of a mile. You kind of pick up the tracks and begin following them again. But Let me see this real quick. Okay, so as you now recognize the distinct stench and this almost metallic tinge of the miasma beginning to kind of coat the air, the two of you noticing this as well, this strange, unpleasant, acrid kind of odor. It almost burns your lungs a bit. You get used to it, but never becoming fully comfortable the closer you get. You realize that you're approaching closer and that is in fact the direction Brinley was currently heading.
Yep.
Roll me one more survival check real quick.
Ooh. 13.
Okay. You don't notice anything out of the ordinary for a bit. However, as you begin following these tracks, you do see what appears to be droplets of kind of blood kind of along the ground. It's difficult to tell who or what it came from, but it does appear to be about a day old-ish. It's not an immense amount of blood, at least at this point, but it is at this point kind of a little dry, and it looks as though it may have been more than one creature producing it at this point, as you kind of see kind of a couple parallel tracks. Anyways.
Is there like a nature check I can do to like if it's like thicker, like a certain type of blood that I've come across?
Sure, go ahead and roll a nature check just to see.
Not bad. 15.
At this point, it's lost kind of a lot of the viscosity.
Yep.
It's
coagulated.
it's begun to dry and coagulate in the dirt of the forest floor. It's a little difficult to tell, given that.
Okay. Well, if they're hurt, then Brinley will be able to heal them. They'll be fine.
Okay.
How are you two doing?
Right as rain.
Better than ever.
We're getting into the thick of things. Just be on constant alert. One of those changed ones. They could be anywhere. And the deeper in we go, the more likely we're going to run into them.
Okay. As you guys now head further and further kind of towards the miasma, you probably go about half the day just kind of following these tracks without anything super remarkable happening. As it grows towards the end of the day, you do begin to set up camp in at least the most comfortable clearing you can find that gives you some bit of cover.
Mm-hmm.
Finveer, go ahead. All three of you actually, go ahead and roll me a perception check.
18.
13.
21.
Okay. Dragathiel and Finveer, you guys, as you're kind of keeping a look around, you see as Mercy's kind of spreading out his bedroll and things. You get the distinct sense that something is watching you. But as you try to glance through the kind of forest, this veritable army of trees, kind of these sentinels standing. If something is there, it's doing a very good job of blending in.
Cool. I'm gonna use Divine Sense.
Okay.
For 60 feet, I can locate any celestial fiend or undead.
Okay. 60 feet. You do not sense anything as you reach out. Doesn't mean it's not there out of your range. It doesn't mean it's not one of the things you can sense that's closer, but you all do your best to keep your eyes open as the night begins to progress.
Before that, though, I'll turn to them and I'll say, Dragathiel, Mercy, look out for each other. I'm going to take a look around. I have a feeling we're not alone, And if there's any crazy portal that takes you to the Feywild,
I'll try not to make any of those.
that would be much appreciated. And I'll try and stealth into the forest and like kind of look around our surroundings, see if there's anything.
Okay. Sure. While he's off doing that, are the two of you doing anything?
I'm just gonna keep looking around and keep all my senses open
Okay.
for whatever it was that I noticed. And I mean, my axe is in my hands.
Okay. Very good.
I'm gonna do the same. Just be hyper vigilant.
Okay.
The immediate surroundings.
Okay. Very good. So, Finveer, first, go ahead and roll me a stealth check.
Yep. It's night, right?
It is
Or
night
it's
now,
getting
yes.
Oh God.
Was it like a 40?
1 second. 31.
As you meld into the background of trees, leaves, and the darkness, you begin to look to see if anything is out of the ordinary. Go ahead and roll me a perception check.
That is a 13.
Okay. It takes you a few minutes. You do one circle of the camp, feeling like you missed something. As you begin you take a slightly wider approach and go a little bit further. You sneakily nearly stumble straight into the middle of another small camp. This one set up by what appears to be a few different lizard-like creatures that you've run into before. 5 of them kind of gathered around a small campfire.
Kobolds?
As you see the kobolds sitting there, they don't appear to have noticed you at all. Even if they rolled a natural 20, I don't think they would see you.
You know.
But they don't appear to have noticed you yet. You just hear them kind of yapping back and forth. Do you speak Draconic?
I do not.
Okay.
I speak Common, Elvish, Sylvan, Undercommon.
There. Well, you hear them kind of yapping back and forth in Draconic. They appear to be cooking a few small creatures they found, what looks like maybe a rabbit. What are you doing?
I'm gonna leave them be. Okay. Oh, actually, can I like write a note and like kind of like put it right next to like the tree, so like heading towards us. If they come towards us like in the night, they'll see this note right there.
Sure. What would you like it to say?
We're not looking for a fight. Don't start one.
Okay.
That's all it'll say.
Okay. Very good. Are you going to then make your way back to the camp?
Yes.
Okay. On your sweep, you don't find anything else immediately obvious. You do run across the tracks a couple times as you do circle wider, but other than that, nothing immediately stands out to you as being unusual. As you guys see him re-enter now, kind of stepping out of seemingly nowhere back into the midst of your camp. What are you guys doing?
So, what'd you find?
It was some more kobolds. They're fine. They have their own encampment, and I put up a note saying if they try and do anything to us, it will be very unfortunate for them.
What language
They're
did you
not
put that
gonna-
in, by the way?
I would have put it in both Common and Sylvan.
Okay.
Cool.
I don't know if they read that, but
Cool.
even if they do attack, they're not going to be much of an issue. We should still take watch, take turns sleeping.
Yeah. I don't know
meditate.
how effective a letter is gonna be.
Yeah. Well,
I'm not going to attack a bunch of kobolds in the middle of the night. They
No,
were
I just-
peaceful last time.
At least, well, regardless, they'll know we're here.
They,
So we definitely need to keep.
I think
an
they
eye on
do. They are probably what were watching us before.
Well, I can take first watch.
Sounds good.
Okay. As you guys now settle in for the evening, Mercy, you taking first watch, the other two of you doing your best to get a restful sleep in the Vale. Finveer probably having no problem. Dragathiel also not too bad, given your heritage.
Forced.
Oh, before I would have. Who's keeping watch?
Finveer's keeping. I'm sorry. Mercy's keeping
Mercy's
first watch.
taking first watch.
Mercy. Okay, never mind. We're good.
Okay. Mercy, go and roll me a perception check.
24 total.
Nice.
Okay. It's a bit difficult to see, given your lack of dark vision as night falls. However, is the kind of small... Did you guys want to set up a fire or no for this one?
Probably not. We're trying to be stealthy-ish.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me another check with disadvantage then, Mercy. Just go ahead and roll a perception check one more time. Let's see what you get.
16.
Okay.
Yeah, that's still pretty good.
Just a few moments before it appears to be purposefully stepping into your camp, you notice the sound of a few kind of rustling leaves as you see just the silhouetted form of this kind of smaller to mid-sized creature, which, having seen them before, you recognize to be a kobold. You see as it kind of steps out from behind a tree, it kind of now lifts a cover from a small lantern as it looks at you, like kind of holding its hands up. It kind of looks at you and gives a small, like, "You speak common?"
Am I aware that the kobolds speak Draconic?
Just go and roll me a history check. With advantage.
Wow.
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 15. Wow.
You know a few creatures like this definitely speak Draconic. Kobolds, historically, are often, whether forcefully or by free will, it's not always known, and sometimes it's a little of both, but they are often found in the servitude of dragons. So it is said if you see kobolds that there must not be a dragon far from. So Draconic definitely follows that they probably speak Draconic, yes.
So I respond in Draconic. I also speak your language.
You see his eyes kind of grow. He says, "Oh, that is nice to hear. We mean you no harm, of course. Vexar has been growing impatient. He wishes to see that one," and he kind of points to Finveer laying on the ground. "Things are not going well here, and, well, I don't know how much longer this task can be put off."
Finveer was concerned with the timing of all of this. Can I ask you what happens if we don't return? At least not immediately.
Well, I imagine Vexar should be very angry. I don't know what he would do, but I imagine it shouldn't be to your liking. If you should manage to escape him, then I imagine that the Vale should succumb to darkness, and this disgusting mist may spread further, but I don't quite understand it myself, so I couldn't tell you what the outcome would be. As Dragathiel and Finveer sleep beside you.
Are we awake to this at all?
If he woke you, the kobold is being pretty quiet. Go ahead. I'll let. What is your passive perception for both of you?
My passive
13.
21.
I would say a few sentences in.
Area.
I would say a few sentences in that Finveer, you do manage to kind of shake awake hearing whispers.
I recall Fenrir telling. I'm just for my own personal notes. I don't have it in my notes. I remember Fenrir telling us about the dragon, but I don't remember being told like their exchange, the deal that they had. Right? Am I right in saying I don't know any of that? I just know he just showed up because of something he did with this dragon. He was able to come.
Sure, Fenrir. Did you want to expound upon that, or shall I?
I think you should, because you didn't send me a bunch of information.
Well,
for that.
it was so after you guys ended up getting, escaping, we'll call it, into the Feywild. You were surrounded by kobolds at this point, as you saw them kind of slowly approaching in the woods.
Oh, that's what those were.
All of you managed to escape through this portal that Dragathiel opened into the Feywild, except for Fenrir, who had stalked off into the woods.
Right.
Once there, it took a bit. You managed to hide and track them as your friends disappeared. You did eventually capture one of them who made it clear they were working for someone, and that someone wished to see you. That ended up being Vexar. You were taken to his lair, where you conversed with him. You saw a large portion of his body now being covered by this corruption. He's still a large dragon, and still very strong, but you get the sense that a lot of his power may have been diminished and his life force kind of waning, which is why he reached out to you, specifically wanting the group to go into the mist, into the miasma, which is, thankfully for you, what you were planning to do anyways, and root out whatever the cause was there to hopefully cure not only him, but you and a few of the other denizens of the forest who have been suffering from this corruption.
Mercy. Seems we have some visitors.
You're awake. Yes, we are. Well, it seems you're being fetched. You're being summoned by our friend over here.
I'll look to the kobold, and we're doing what he asked.
We only worry that you do not do it fast enough.
If anybody understands the speediness of this whole entire situation, it would be me. But we are making sure that we do this right. And there are a few friends who are very close to us, both in distance and past, that we figure it would be best to have their assistance in all this. Otherwise, we could end up failing, and that would be bad for everybody.
And were there not two more with you? Vexar wishes to know where they went.
Well,
they've left temporarily.
You trade
for the best.
Evil for another. There was a djinn that had taken over a city, and we were trapped there for a short period.
And more than just a city, the minds of hundreds of people.
Do not care. I am only doing Vexar's bidding. He wishes to speak with you at once.
Well, that's a bit of a problem, because it's the opposite direction.
He knows where to find us. You found us.
It would take us days to go back, and if time is very essential and we get this done as soon as possible, then this is counterproductive.
The two of you roll me a persuasion check.
23.
Okay, good, because then mine's gonna probably be bad. Oh, not terrible. That is 17.
All right, he says. Well, then I shall deliver your message. He also wished you to know that there were some others that visited, and they were supposed to retrieve you, but then they turned aside for some reason or another. And, well, I don't know if these are the ones you speak of, but if so, perhaps you could gather them quickly and come back to speak with Vexar. yes, there was a very large man. Beard, shoulder-length hair. Carried a very large hammer thing. And then a smaller woman of some sort. Almost like a halfling, but not quite. Very heavy armor. And then one of our own decided to go with them.
That's good to hear. Now, where we are right now, would it
Yes.
still be a trip to, like, if we follow them and then backtrack, or can we, like, get them and, like, kind of go directly into the miasma?
From where you are, if the way you've been tracking them is a good gauge of time as to how far away they might be, you are still probably a day's walk from reaching the kind of the wall, as it were, of miasma. You've kind of at this point passed by where Vexar's lair would be.
Yep.
However, you gather you could probably reach there slightly faster.
Vexar's,
Yeah, probably a little less than a day. Probably a solid like 6 to 8 hours of travel.
okay.
So you're kind of equidistant at this point almost, with you being a little bit closer towards the lair. It depends on how far Brinley and Ragnar pushed. It's a little difficult to say at this point.
Well, if Vexar decides that it's best we meet up with him instead of going directly into the miasma, then we will do that. But I don't know if that's the best idea. We were planning to go straight in as soon as we got our friends.
I shall deliver this message, and if we need to reach you, then we shall.
I'll like nod to him, and I look to Mercy and Dragathiel, and I say, "Oh, right." And I'll kind of like tap her on the shoulder to kind of wake her up.
Okay.
No. What?
Sorry, I know you haven't gotten much rest. If we're gonna do this, we might not get lucky enough to have a full night's rest. Are you okay with traversing through the night?
Yeah. But someone's going to have to hold Pretty Boy's hand.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Come on.
Do you have any torches?
No.
I don't either.
Let me see. Let me see.
My
I do. I do have a torch.
Look at you.
Perfect. You're all prepared.
La-di-da.
I'll send off Aya. Maybe she can catch up to them and get them to stop moving, assuming they're not right now. Or that they are right now.
Okay.
Aya, keep a lookout for them. Go ahead.
Okay. Very good. So you send off Aya. We're going to go ahead and take a 5-minute break here as you guys watch the kobold disappear back into the forest. You all kind of trying to decide what exactly you're doing. We'll catch up with that in just a minute. We're going to take a 5-minute break for...
5 minutes. We got a wheel
Spin the
spin.
wheel.
We got a wheel spin.
When we
All
come
right,
back.
all right.
I got a wheel
For
spin.
now.
We got a wheel spin.
Yes.
We
We
did.
go wheel spin.
And we will... Do we want to do it now or when we come back?
We can do it when we come back.
The suspense.
Ooh, suspense. All right. We'll hit that up when we come back. So we'll be right back
Verb.
in like 5-ish minutes or so. So we'll see you guys in just a minute. Bye.
Okay, bud.
Yeah, okay, bud.
Holy shit.
And we're back. What?
I just didn't realize how amazing haste is.
It's really,
Yeah, it's so
really
good.
good.
It's so good.
Yeah, you got a really good bargain.
It may, because what I end up doing.
I got you.
Because haste normally lasts 1 minute. It is going to be shorter than that for your armor variety. It'll probably be more like 30 seconds, but that's still a long time.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking at what I get with it.
Yeah, it's really.
It's 5 rounds, so that's not that bad.
Yeah, it's really, really useful in combat. It's kind of ridiculous. Once per day, though. So don't squander it.
Nope.
I'm probably gonna squander it.
Probably.
You know, maybe you should just squander it though. Let's be honest. There are days that I'm like, nah, I should save my face step, and then I'm like, well, that was the option right there.
Yeah,
that was
coulda
the
used it.
time. Like there was no other good time.
All right. Before we hop back in, I do want to go ahead and go through the stuff. So let's see. All the people, thank you for the host. Cricky, Hunter, Moop Shark, a tiny baby Becky. Thank you. In 7, thank you for those bits. Ice T, thank you for the follow. Pint, thank you for the host and for those bits. And she got us for our first wheel spin. So let me go ahead and pull that up real quick.
Spin that wheel.
And we will spin the wheel.
Yeah. Oh, thanks for the biddies, Ice T.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
Biddy!
And welcome to the stream, by the way. Obviously, when I'm DMing, a lot of the times I don't get to respond to chat how I would like to. So I always try to do it during the break and before and after the show. So thank you, guys. Becky? Becky works perfectly.
I love
thank
Ice
you.
T.
Yeah, I love the both of you. You're both amazing. All right, so.
Like drinking iced tea. I mean, that's like, I love, but I also love iced tea.
But,
Iced
I
tea
hate
is so
drinking
good.
iced tea, but I love.
this specific.
I love drinking iced tea, but also all my brain was thinking was Rick and Morty iced
Yeah.
tea.
Oh,
Spin
yeah.
the wheel. Here we go. Let's see what we got.
Rapper iced tea.
Gotta be something good. Gotta give something
Nothing
good.
useful for you guys right now.
Oh.
I will let you bank it. I will let you bank it for next time, just because we're in our. So if
In
there's
combat.
combat next time, I will allow you guys to use one of the rejuvenations afterwards. I'm going to be changing up a lot of the things on the wheel since we've kind of gone through our trial run at this point.
I think it's pretty good.
But
yeah.
overall,
like
it's
it.
not bad.
It's pretty sexy.
It's so sexy.
Overall, not bad. But I am going to be changing up a few things on it. So just be aware of those changes coming soon. In the meantime, let me check this real quick before we hop right back in. Yep. Okay. So, as the kobold disappears off in the night, the three of you now sitting awake, kind of looking around at each other. What are you doing?
Aren't we like heading out right away? Even
I don't
not
know.
with the rest?
That's up to you guys to decide.
Yeah.
If
I
you
think
do,
that's what
if
I
you
asked
do,
them. Yeah.
just as for those of you who are not familiar, if you do not get a long rest within a 24-hour period, you will take a point of exhaustion. So if you choose to push on much longer, you will gain exhaustion, which gives you disadvantage on all your ability checks and fun things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Just FYI.
Yep.
Okay. That's up to you guys.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Yep. It also saves us time. Like you have to balance. Like, do we want to? Like, that's why I asked you guys. Do you want to like get this for the short condition for a little while, or do you want to like save time? I mean, there is a dragon that's pissed off at us for not checking in.
Pissed off
Like-
at you.
Well,
You.
okay, I can fucking leave you. You guys are good in the forest. You good? I can just.
To be honest, you could leave us in the forest and we wouldn't know until long after you were gone.
It's true.
Yeah, you're right. Right.
Oh, well,
It's
just don't
not
ask me to
ideal.
do anything. 'cause-
That's fine. I'm going to be doing most of the tracking and keeping lookout. I don't mind. And how about this? When we actually do get time to rest, I'll take first watch. I know everyone's going to be probably exhausted by then.
Yep.
Mercy,
Say it again.
is this all right with you?
Yeah. No, I mean, I trust you.
Okay.
Trust you heavily.
Stick close and have your torch out. Don't want you tripping up. And then I'll start leading the way where the tracks lead off to.
Okay. So, before you even get to that, as you guys kind of finish this conversation and you begin turning off to the side into the direction you're going to be heading, there now stands in front of you a figure, kind of at first silhouetted in the darkness. However, as she steps forward, you see the familiar face of Bate standing in front of you. As she looks at the two of you, you now look upon her eyes, which are currently black and pupilless.
Awkward.
As she looks at the three of you here, she stares for a moment, and she says, I think it would be best if you left here.
We don't have that exhaustion just yet, do we?
Not yet. So
Okay.
as you look upon her now, still wearing her similar sort of black scales with the crystal hanging around her neck, you see her hair similarly as it was before, kind of a golden blonde fading into a pink. As she looks at all of you, it was nice of you to come this far, but it's over.
No, I have never met her, but I was told about her through Vexar and such, right?
You knew that she was taken.
Mhm.
You knew that she was taken inside the miasma,
Mhm.
but that's about all you know about her.
And do I know if this is her, or like was she described to me at all? If not, it's okay.
You have no idea.
I'll turn to Mercy and Dragathiel and turn back and be like, listen, you're not telling us where to go.
I'm doing you a favor because I remember, and if you come any further, I don't want to have to be the one that kills you.
But hey, you wouldn't do that.
Bate, what happened to you?
This is her then.
Can I
Oh,
can I
yeah.
insight check her and see if there's what I can?
Sure. Go ahead and roll me an
on.
insight check.
Eight.
It certainly looks like her.
Do I notice any corruption on her, or is it like a little different or anything like that?
Looking at her now, go ahead and I guess all of you roll me a perception check real quick.
I got 17.
13.
10.
17 was the highest.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You take a look at her, and she is much as you last saw her, almost a month ago at this point, if I recall. Definitely a few weeks, a couple weeks at this point. Other than the fact that her eyes are now black and unblinking, she is much adorned as she was before, lacking a few of the items as she had lost her pack. But outside of that, you don't see any obvious signs of corruption or any sort of outward symbol of that she may be infected in any way. As she looks at the three of you, she says, "There is no hope. Just turn back now and try to live your lives somewhere nice, somewhere else."
What's making you say that? It's
Well, I
Nothing to-
have seen what lies ahead. And I have seen that the return shall be soon.
That was wonderful. Wonderful performance. I loved it. Every second of it. But we're going forward, and you can't stop us. I would highly recommend you don't try, because we are not in the mood for any of this. And I don't see this being a fight you can win.
You see as she kind of glances amongst the three of you. Just a tinge of sadness kind of showing in what remains of her eyes. Well, I did try, and this is the only warning that you'll be getting from me. But I warn you, I will not be holding back. And much has changed in the short time we've been apart.
If it's too late, then why not just let us go?
I cannot choose whether you come or go. I can only choose what to do when you arrive.
Look, you advised us to turn back. And that's just simply not an option. So, if you truly believe it's too late, then what's the harm in letting us go by in advance?
Who cares? We're gonna die one way or another if it's by your hand or in there, so what do you care?
Exactly.
Well, I can't say I didn't try.
I think it's smoke. A smoke screen. I think she's afraid. Or whoever sent her is. That we're getting close. And that we do have a chance. Otherwise, what's the point of sending a message? We just follow through, like you said, to our deaths. And it doesn't matter either way, but it does matter. Thank you for letting us know that. You have done a wonderful job.
Think what you will. It doesn't matter anymore. And at this point, you see she just kind of gives the slightest hint of a smile and a very curt bow as her body, then you see it kind of disappear. You don't know whether it was an illusion, some sort of projection or otherwise, but as you glance around now, you are very much alone.
Your friend is surely interesting.
Yeah.
Was
Say
she
the
like
least.
that before?
I wouldn't say so.
No. And that's actually far more stable than we'd seen her in the past.
That's concerning.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Well, at least they're afraid.
Yeah. I mean, they must be desperate if they're using her, whether it was a visage or actually her. I mean, we've seen what she can do. If that's what they've resorted to, we must be on the right track.
It's a little ironic. They tried making us turn the other way, but it only made us want to go in further.
It's only like we spent good while facing our demons from the past. We've grown a little accustomed to it at this point.
I wish we had just taken a nap.
Yes.
That'll come in
Agreed.
time. We'll continue forward and be careful of any old friends that might pop up. Good or bad.
Okay. Very good. So from here, you guys have not yet left your camp. So, having finished this encounter with Bate, what are you guys doing?
My vote's on continuing to track. The sooner we can get to a cleric that has cleric stuff, the more heals we have, and then we just live forever. That's how that works, right?
Is there a cleric up ahead?
Maybe. It's almost as if I know my own friends.
She was a paladin, but sure.
Oh, she was? Whoops. Whoa,
Or you
paladin, double the paladin powers. Lay on those hands.
Double the pally.
Whoops, I guess I don't. It's been a long time, okay? I've had it in my head that she's a cleric, and I was totally wrong.
Yes.
So we're not living forever? Is that what you're telling me?
We're living for half as forever.
That's gonna
okay?
put a kink in my plans.
Ooh. I'm not gonna plan shame you.
And that's my kink.
Ah, crap.
Lay on those.
With this having come to a close, you guys deciding to go ahead and press forward to try
I
and
hate this.
get a little bit of time on your side. Hopefully. You begin following the tracks, which begin leading a little closer to the miasma at this point. Go ahead and roll me another survival check, Finveer.
20 total.
Okay. It takes a second, given the little bit of disorientation you had from these two random conversations, and then the fact that it is currently dark out. But you pick up the trail rather quickly.
Woods have never been so popular.
Right?
Yeah.
So, picking up the trail, following it further into the woods, you, across the couple days, you have stumbled across where it looks as though camp had been made by Brinley and Ragnar. You stumble across another camp not too far out from where you just were. You gather they're not incredibly far ahead of you now, especially if you're traveling at night as well and kind of pushing it forced march style through the middle of the night.
Yay.
What did you get on your survival total? It was 20?
20 total.
Okay. As you now look around, glancing at a little further up the trees, you notice these old trees, very large, very hard, very sturdy. You notice there's almost these kind of punctures and scratches along them, as if something had been kind of like climbing them and using them to get around. And you notice they appear to, almost at this point, directly mirror the path that the trail on the ground has been following. You gather, based on what you've seen, these may be some creatures that you have encountered before, or at least very similar to. And you know they're no slouch, certainly. So, as you make your way further, following these tracks, the miasma drawing ever closer, the kind of stench and this kind of acidic odor beginning to fill the three of your lungs a little more. You do finally kind of come to another small clearing, and as you kind of bend down to inspect the tracks, everybody rolling a perception check.
$12.
12.
26.
I'm glad you're perceptive.
So, you guys stepping into this clearing, just a little bit of moonlight kind of piercing through the tops of the trees. As you step out and look around, it feels eerily quiet. Finveer, as you look around, noticing most of the sounds of wildlife in the forest, having stopped at this point, you suddenly become very aware of your surroundings. As you glance to the top of a tree, not too far ahead of you at the edge of the clearing, you see nothing at first, and then suddenly a pair of kind of golden eyes, golden reddish, kind of slowly make their ways at this kind of almost thin skeletal face kind of peeks out from around the back of the tree. Yes,
Can I get everyone to get down, because I feel like I'd be, well, I guess I didn't say so beforehand. I should have said so. I'd be 10 feet ahead of everyone, but no, that's all. It's fine. It's no big deal. To get everyone to get down and be quiet. Just, shh.
Sure.
All
then
stealthy
Yeah,
I was gonna say then all three of you guys
which you
go and,
no longer have to do with disadvantage.
three of you go and roll me a stealth check.
Don't mind if I do.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be a 9.
I mean, it's not a disadvantage.
I didn't have to roll with disadvantage. I rolled a 1.
It's 11. I got an 11. I didn't have.
I think Becky cursed me.
25.
As you try to get them to quiet down, they end up tripping over. You see, as Dragathiel's like, huh? and trips over a small root that is protruding from the ground, bumping into Mercy, and the two of them go stumbling into a tree, their gear kind of clanging together.
Ow.
As you notice this, you look back at them, and as you glance back up at the tree, the face you saw there is no longer there.
I'm gonna take out my bow and like gesture everyone to do the exact same, just in case.
I'm
Very
gonna unsheathe my swords, my rapiers.
I just saw that image you posted in the Discord.
I'll put it in the thingy.
So
I love it. It's my favorite. I love collecting these little reaction photos of you.
As you all now ready your weapons.
Can I also have a spell prepared?
Sure. Which spell, and what are you holding it for?
I'm gonna hold. I'm gonna hold Vicious Mockery for basically as soon as I see anyone go to do an attack.
Okay. Noted. All right. Very good. So Finveer.
Mm-hmm. What up, baby?
I got a roll thing.
That
And,
eyebrow dance.
Cookies.
Yeah, do that.
Sorry.
Did you bring enough for the rest of the class?
Does a 19 hit you?
Yeah, that'll hit me.
You guys now, having been not the stealthiest,
Well,
as Finveer, as you look around, it's too late, and you finally notice that the creature has kind of made its way. It's shifted closer to you around this kind of set of trees in the clearing, as you see a kind of almost bony-like harpoon object flying at you. As it impales you in the side, you suddenly feel yourself ripped off the ground as it begins pulling you upwards towards it.
do I do a save?
Go ahead and make me a, we'll call this...
Strength saving throw?
For this one, I'm just checking to make sure I'm not crazy. Actually, you don't. You're currently you cannot actually escape until it is your turn to do so.
Damn.
As you guys look up ahead, about 60 feet in the air above you, you see this creature, this kind of long, weirdly pale flesh-like protrusion that's pulling. It's kind of just retracting inwards, pulling Finveer off the ground. First of all of you go and roll me initiative. Finveer, first you take.
Oh, lovely.
21. I rolled a natural 20 for initiative.
You and I are initiative buddies.
I got a 12.
No, 12, Lisa. I got 12.
So, Finveer, you take 16 points.
Why does it say I have death saves? What the hell?
You have 16 points of piercing damage as this thing just absolutely catches you off guard, stabbing into your side, and rips you off the ground.
16?
16, yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Let me go ahead and start. some different-
Are
Yes, ma'am.
for this creature, are its attacks considered magical or non-magical?
Go ahead and roll me a nature check, we'll call it for this.
Oh,
or
not
nature
good.
arcana.
No, it's because of my heavy armor mastery,
Mhm.
is why I ask.
Well, you didn't get attacked yet, so you'll find out.
Oh, so I'll just know when I get
When you get
attacked,
attacked.
and you'll just tell me.
Yes.
Okay. Well,
It's a little difficult to tell from afar whether they're magical or not. You'll find out in a minute.
cool. I was like, I'm gonna get damaged.
The harpoon itself does not look magical.
Cool.
It looks fucked up.
As you are now ripped off the ground, Finveer, and you come face to face with the dark, dead, empty eyes of this creature. It's kind of lightish, this pale skin, looking at you, unblinking and unemotional. You see as its other arm comes out and grabs you by the back of your head as it kind of pulls you in for just crushing, almost like a bear hug against itself. You still impaled. Make me a wisdom saving throw.
Oh, natural 20.
Okay.
So 23. I needed that.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, no. Oof.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, no.
So you take 25 points of damage halved.
Oh, my God.
Psychic damage, so you get it halved. And that is going to be the end of the creature's turn. So who got what on who got what on their initiative rolls?
I got 21 and
I'm
so did
last.
Dragathio.
Yeah, we both got 21.
Okay. I'll put Finvir first since your dexterity's higher.
Sounds good.
Okay, so
Well, okay.
so you said 21,
Sure.
Mercy?
I got a 12.
Oh, you got a 12. Why did I hear
We
21?
got 21.
You both got 21. Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, so Finvir, you are the first to react then, as you are now face to face with this creature 60 feet in the air, as it holds you, just as it's its other arm kind of crushing you against the thing. You see its feet are almost like bony talons of sorts, kind of like positioned itself to where it can hold itself in place on the tree. It's these protrusions kind of stabbing into this very dense wood. What are you doing?
Am I considered grappled?
You are considered grappled, and to get out of it, it is a acrobatics check for you, I believe.
Yeah, I will do said acrobatics check.
Okay, go ahead and roll me an acrobatics check against his athletics.
Not bad. 20 total.
Well, he only rolled a 3, plus doesn't matter. So, as you do manage to kind of rip this harpoon out of you, you look down, just kind of a little bit of blood just dripping out of this, pouring out of this wound as you manage to tear yourself away as you kind of flip back and slide down the tree, or unless you're planning to stay.
No, I'm not planning to stay near that thing. I'm a far-ranged fighter.
I figured you were.
I use a bow and arrow.
As you manage to kind of slide down the tree as best you can using your arm, your cursed arm kind of sliding down. You hit the ground. Anything else you would like to do then?
What can I do? That's considered my action.
That's
to
considered
do
an
that.
action. So yeah, if you want to do bonus action.
I'm gonna use a bonus action to hide.
Okay. Good. Just roll me stealth check.
Not great, but 17.
Okay. All right.
And then I'll use my move action because I can still do that.
I'll let you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to move a little further away.
Closer to Dragathiel, and because he dragged me 60 feet, right?
60 feet up diagonally. They're really only about, once you reach the ground, they're only about 10 feet away from you.
Okay, then yeah, I'll still get a little closer to them still.
Okay.
Within 10 feet-ish. Or like within their range.
Okay, noted. Very good. So, Dragathiel, you having seen this happen, Finvir managing to rip himself off and escape, as he begins making his way back down, you see him disappear into the darkness. It is your turn. What are you doing?
Yeah. All right. So, less. How far away from it am I about?
It's about 60 feet up in the air, roughly.
60 feet up in the air.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't
Okay. I'm gonna. Yeah, I'm going to. Oh, balls. Okay, yeah. I'm just gonna go ahead and. How far away is Mercy from me? Actually, sorry.
I imagine you guys are pretty close together
5
since
feet,
you bumped
We're
into
all
each
just
other.
kind of next to each other. Oh, okay, cool.
Yes.
Cool.
Cool.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah. I'm just gonna cast Dissonant Whispers.
Okay, on the creature.
Yeah.
Very good. I should also note, Finvir, while you were there, since your passive perception is stupidly high, you did also notice the creature itself probably seen better days, as you saw a couple gashes and a couple clear impacts on it.
Okay.
It's definitely not. It's hurting. It's still very much alive, obviously, but it's not in tip-top shape at the moment.
Gotcha.
So, Dragathiel.
Yeah.
What you doing?
Dissonant
Whispers.
Okay, and I need to make wisdom save.
Wisdom 14.
That is a failure.
Hey!
Really?
Really?
You don't say.
I'm so excited. Okay, so it will take 3d6 psychic damage
Okay,
and
go
must immediately use its reaction to move as far as its speed allows away.
Okay.
So,
All right. So go ahead and roll your damage.
Imagine he has minty speeds.
13 points of damage.
All right. Okay. As you do this, you see the creature kind of tilt its head for a second. Dissonant Whispers doesn't appear to have quite been as effective as you were expecting to be. However, the creature does still seem to be confused for a moment as you see it kind of hop a few trees away.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else you'd like to do on your turn?
Yes. As a bonus action.
Oh, you get those now.
I like those. Those are nice. Sorry. As a bonus action, I'm gonna cast Healing Word on Fenrir.
Nice.
Okay.
How
Very
much?
So 1d4 plus 3.
You want to roll it or should I?
You can roll it,
Okay.
or I can roll it. I don't care.
Roll it. Roll with your special
Okay.
meta dice. Get a 4. I believe in you.
Roll with your special dice.
Just
Look.
special die.
Look with your special dice.
Look with your special
My
dice.
brand.
My brand.
I rolled a 2, so
That's not bad. That's average.
you get 5.
That's
5 hit points back to you, Fenrir.
Fin.
So, Dragathiel,
All
that
of our
being
coffees are working.
the end of your turn, it is
Yeah.
now the creature's turn. As you see, is it kind of now having shaken off the effect of Dissonant Whispers, it begins making its way back. This time, let's see. This time with a vengeance. It does begin making its way lower as it heads back too, as if it's trying to make it down to the ground. It kind of stops, leaning off one of the trees as it fires another harpoon. This one at you, Mercy. That is a natural 20.
Oh no.
Let me roll.
We tank these. Don't worry.
Oh.
they don't call me Moby Dick for nothing.
That is
I think they just called you a dick.
that is a total
Maybe.
of 33 points of piercing damage.
Mm-hmm.
As the harpoon impacts you in just the middle of your gut, and it rips you off the ground, pulling it up towards itself. Make me a wisdom saving throw.
Oh baby, second part of the attack.
But you get plus
15.
3 because you're by me, right?
18
Okay,
Yay.
that is a success, so you only take half damage.
of that 33.
No. This is a different
That's the
attack.
first attack.
All right. So okay. So
Yeah.
this is from the second fucking that's happening. Okay.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
So you take a total of 10 after it's halved, 10 points of psychic damage.
How you doing,
As you
buddy?
feel it pull you close, you suddenly
okay.
feel this coldness, as this extreme sense of like emptiness and loneliness begins to pour over your body, like the more it crushes you into itself. It is now your turn. And now that you are starting... Oh, no, it's at the end. It's at the beginning of its turn, so never mind.
That's painful.
Go ahead. Mercy, it is your turn.
How? So am I now that it's grappled me? Now that it's harpooned me in? Am I within proximity?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, great. I don't have to use haste to get to him. Okay. All part of the plan.
Okay.
So first I'm going to cast Hex
Okay.
on this.
Noted. You want him to have
Itch.
disadvantage on what? Because you get to choose the save.
Dexterity, I guess, because it's
Okay.
crapping around in the trees.
Very good.
Next up, I'm going to. Sorry, I had a set plan. Now that I've been slightly damaged.
Slightly, just a little.
Just ever so slightly damaged.
we're all
I'm making some
damaged
adjustments here.
on the inside.
I'm going to attack with my rapiers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do it.
All right. The first one is 18 to hit.
Okay. 18 does hit. Go ahead and roll damage, sir.
Then, okay. All right, that is 10 damage plus the d6. 14 damage on the first one.
Okay, nice.
Or, yeah.
What type of damage is that for reference? Just your regular piercing damage, right?
Yeah, yeah, and then and then whatever the hex additional. The hex is just 1d6 necrotic.
Necrotic damage. Very good. Okay.
And then I'm going to use my extra attack to do the same thing.
Naturally.
Ooh, that hits hard. That is 24 to hit.
24 definitely hits.
And as far as damage goes, that is a 7 damage.
Okay. Noted. As you now with the harpoon still in you, just go ahead and whip out your rapier and begin stabbing into this creature. You see the slashes and kind of impacts already covering it. Now you stabbing it full of more holes as this blackish ichor of blood begins kind of pouring out of it. Its face still unblinking and unmoved, but you can tell that its form is beginning to certainly lose a bit of its structure. It's still alive, but it's already not in the best place.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to action surge.
Okay. And for reference, because we didn't add the new armor to your inventory, like I said, you don't get disadvantage on stealth. And if you would like to cast haste, it costs an action.
Right. But using haste gives me an additional action
It
towards
does.
a weapon and like a few other things. So
Correct.
it's almost kind of like a free action. But I have it pulled up. But I'm just gonna action surge to attack with my rapiers again.
All right, go ahead.
See if we can't knock this guy out. That is a 15 to hit.
15 just barely misses.
Okay.
Ooh.
I'm gonna go again.
Okay.
All right, that's 18 to hit.
Okay, 18 does hit. Go and roll damage, sir.
Oh, I just realized him. That is total 9 damage.
9 damage. Okay. Noted. And as a reminder, you do also still have your bonus action for your offhand weapon.
Didn't I use my hex as a bonus action?
You did use your hex. You were right. Thank you for being honest, sir. Then anything else you'd like to do on your turn?
I think I made a mistake. Yeah, I accidentally, no, never mind. I did not make a mistake. Okay, we're good.
Okay.
I'm set. Turn is over.
All right. Very good. Back to the
declare
top of
my
the
turn
turn order.
over.
Finveer, it is your turn.
Bonus action, Hunter's Mark.
All right. So you throw Hunter's Mark on the creature.
Yeah, my mark. And I'm hey.
Hey.
And I'm gonna attack it twice with my bow.
Okay. Go ahead.
First one is 18. Oh, sorry, sharpshooter as well. So I'm taking a heavy penalty. 18.
18 with your penalty.
Yes.
Okay, that hits. Yeah.
And the second attack is, ooh, that's good. 24.
All right. That also
Okay.
hits. Go
Let's
and
see
roll
here.
damage.
Let's see here, Babby.
Can you only do sharpshooter once per turn, and can you do it every attack?
It says that's a good question actually, but I'm pretty sure it says before you make an attack that you are proficient with, you can take a penalty. That's all. You can do it as any attack. I
Okay,
guess.
that's nice. Okay.
So that is 52 points of damage.
That will do it.
Yay.
As you see Mercy up there with his rapiers just stabbing into this creature, filling it full of holes. You drop another one through its neck, and then another one as it turns towards you. It's like kind of stiff movement looking over at you. The other one going straight through its other eye socket as the eye on the other side now begins to dim as it begins to fall off. Mercy still currently grappled. Mercy, go ahead and make me a dexterity saving throw.
Oh no.
13.
You notice a little too late. You see the creature die. You kind of breathe a sigh of relief for a second when you notice suddenly the cord connecting you to the harpoon is also pulling you off with the creature. As you go to try and cut yourself free, you're not quite fast enough as you begin falling. Make me an acrobatics check really quick.
Can I do anything?
15.
No is the answer. I mean, it's...
Could I have brushed over there? I didn't use my movement at all.
I mean, if you guys want to try and get under him, I suppose you can, but it
wouldn't be the smart idea. So get close enough that if after we can heal him.
So as he begins falling, you guys rush over. I'll let the two of you make just a flat dexterity check.
This is kind of like jumping from a
17.
tower.
17. Oh my god, we're like in sync tonight.
Nice.
The two of you kind of rush over at the same time, nearly slamming into each other, trying to grab Mercy as he falls, kind of while dodging out of the way of the body of this creature that slams down just ahead of him. As you both kind of put out your arms, he hits you pretty hard from the height he just fell from, rather forcefully. Mercy, you take a total of 7 points of bludgeoning damage, and the two of you both take 4. As he slams into you. You do manage to catch him, but as you all kind of stumble to the ground, you did catch him. Would have probably taken a little more than that, but looks like he's doing okay, I think. How much HP you have, Mercy?
13.
Okay, not too bad.
Yeah.
No, I'm pretty
Fine.
beefy boy.
As you now, as the three of you now look down at this creature, Mercy removes the harpoon from himself. Finveer,
Yes.
you now hear not too far away, you hear the sound of like as this kind of echoing call kind of bounces around the different trees. You hear what sounds to be probably another 6 to 7 of these creatures. As you now look up, you can see in the distance these kind of glowing eyes as these heads kind of peer from around the trees looking at you. Go ahead.
I'm gonna say to them, you know how that one was really hard to kill? Well, there's another 7 coming.
This
Let's
one
get
was
out of
damaged.
here.
We need to run.
We need to run.
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 Very fast.
Yeah.
And as you do so, you're making your way through the woods as best you can. However, you can hear the sound this behind you getting closer and closer, as finally... I had to burp in the middle of that. As finally...
The suspense.
Moves away.
you hear a just kind of sound of this harpoon flying through the air. Dragathiel.
No.
20 does hit you, unless you don't have shield, I don't think.
No.
So 20 does hit Dragathiel. As you guys are running, you suddenly see as she's ripped from the ground, pulled back. All right.
We ain't gonna leave you, don't worry.
That is 20 points of piercing damage. Go ahead and make me a wisdom saving throw.
Is it non-magical?
It is non-magical.
Okay, then it's 17, bitch.
Okay, there we go.
So there.
So there.
You said to do what then?
Wisdom saving throw. You should be pretty good at these, or at least
I'm
decent.
pretty good at them. Yeah, usually.
All right.
20 total.
20 total. That is a save, so you will take half damage on this.
Cool.
Well, I rolled really bad anyways. So you only take 7 points of psychic damage as this creature attempts to now crush you towards itself. As the two of you now see her get ripped away, what are you doing?
Stopping immediately.
Okay.
Mercy, keep going. And I'm going to is it just this one right now? Or is there multiple?
You see as she's getting pulled back, you glance back, you see this one is the closest, but not by much, as 5 more now, hopping from the trees behind it, begin to make their way towards you.
As she gets like pulled away from me, like, is it rapid enough where there's no way I could try and grab her?
Not in this instance, no.
Can I... Is the cord visible from my, like, position?
Barely, as it's kind of been retracted up into the arm at this point, with her kind of being grappled in towards it.
Can I aim for the arm cord?
How far away am I?
I mean, at this point,
From-
only about 30 feet.
Could I face step out of it?
Oh.
What season are you in again? Summer?
Summer.
Oh.
Yeah.
What is the effect on that?
Each creature of my choice within 5 feet would take fire damage. So
Okay. I would allow it, yeah, sure. Not yet,
Okay.
but in a moment when it is
Yeah.
your turn, perhaps.
Okay.
So, Finveer, you're going to try and aim for...
The arm, yeah.
Okay. Sure, I'll allow it. Sure, I will allow it. It is going to be at a pretty... Yeah.
Heavy, yeah. It's a called shot. Usually
Yes.
it would be. Fuck. When I need to roll. I mean, that's not terrible. 20 total for the first attack, and
Okay. 20 is what you needed to hit the cord.
oh god.
Wow, jeez.
Okay, that's good then. And the second attack doesn't hit then,
Okay.
but I hit with the first attack.
All right, go ahead and roll damage for me.
Now, is he considered in combat with Dragathiel for the sake of?
He is...
He's
Yes.
okay.
I will say that he is, yes.
Not bad, not bad.
Because sneak attack. I got
Yes. 18 points of damage.
18. As you let the arrow fly, it does, Dragathiel, you feel a loosening of the tension as this arrow seems to just barely pierce, passing between you and the creature as you see the cord itself begin being severed now. You are currently not grappled. Finveer, anything else you would like to do with your turn?
Fuck. I moved back, and I'm gonna. No, I'm gonna wait for her to get past me. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. Okay. So it is not yet Dragathiel's turn. A few of the creatures get to go before then. So,
They all like spike her at once and like
yeah, just
this Hellraiser just split her in half.
so Dragathiel,
Sights to show you.
roll me a wisdom saving throw. As you are now pulled in close to this creature, you start to look away, but its gaze catches yours.
Oh no.
10.
Okay. You take 13 points of psychic damage as you just suddenly feel just a lot of the energy being pulled out of you, as this creature seems to be almost an unending pit of just this negative emotion. Anything that was positive in you, you feel it beginning to be ripped out of you into this void that is this kind of these dead eyes of this creature ahead of you. That was the end of its, or I'm sorry, that is the beginning of its turn. No longer is currently has you grappled. Having lost its one harpoon arm, it is going to go ahead and move away a little bit. It's not going to disengage, but it is going to move away from you. So if you'd like to get an attack of opportunity on it, that is
Yeah,
up to
I
you.
would.
Okay.
Do it.
Fuck it up.
Fuck it up real good.
All right. And Finvir,
Fun.
as you are now looking at all of these creatures, a lot of them appear to have been taking a beating. Some of them are missing arms or other appendages.
That's good. That's good. That's good. That means there's people nearby. Maybe.
I rolled a 3.
All right. That does not hit.
Yeah, no.
It's
Is it-
okay. It's a good roll to waste.
Right?
It is.
You see as the creature kind of like dodges out of the way of your axe goes and slams into the tree above it. It dodges, hopping into another tree. A couple other of these creatures now, as they now, seeing Mercy and Finvir having stopped, they begin taking up position around you. You see as 4 of them kind of drop, 2 on either side.
Fuck.
Another one still up in the tree, not too far from Dragathiel, is still making its way in. At this point, however, let me see.
Hey, what's rejuvenation?
Yeah, you can use that when you're not in combat.
What is it?
It will give you. It will let one of you. You get to vote, and it's essentially. If you ever, I like to think of it like in Kingdom Hearts, like you guys would do kind of a focus together, where you kind of pool your energy. So one of you would either get all of your hit points back, or all of your spell slots back.
Okay, gotcha.
So, in this instance, let's see, it is this creature and this one. So that one moved out of range of you, but it is going to take another shot at Mercy here, which is going to miss. And it's going to continue kind of moving around us, encircle you. The next one is another shot at Mercy, which also misses because I'm pretty sure what's your AC? 16 now or 17?
17.
Yeah, I got 15 and 16. So.
It's trying.
You see as Mercy just dodges out of the way of both of them narrowly. However, there are still more. As one more now, this one's taking a shot at Finvir. However, it only got a 10. As you all now dodging this just onslaught of these harpoons that are coming at you as these creatures now appear to be closing in. None of them look super great at this point, but they are very intent on getting at you. However, before that happens, let me see. Don't worry about this.
Don't worry about this.
You see, seemingly from out of nowhere, Mercy, as kind of over your shoulder from across where Finvir is standing, this enormous hammer comes flying out of the woods, impacting not one but 2 of the creatures on the way. You see as one of them gets its head taken clean off, the other one kind of catches it in the chest, and as it goes to kind of grab at the hammer, it goes whoop, and you see as it slams back into the hand of this large man kind of standing there as he looks at the rest of you.
Mjolnir. I'm gonna go Mjolnir on his ass.
He now, this large man now looking around at you, it's like, thank you. We've been chasing these for some time. As he now goes and you see as he throws the hammer again. Let me see if he hits. And that one will just barely hit as well.
Big guy. I'm tall.
You see as he throws it again at the creature that had attempted to grab at the hammer, it gets knocked off its feet and flung back into the forest as its body now lays there crumpling, no longer moving. And just as this next attack is coming on you, Finvir, you now see this kind of tiny form kind of appear from out of the forest. It appears to be another kobold. However, this one dressed a little differently from the others. You see it wearing these kind of like weird fuzzy boots that look oddly too big for its feet. But as it kind of pops out of the woods, you see as it takes a crossbow and kind of leans from around the tree, and it's going to go ahead and take a shot at the one nearest you. And that is going to hit. It's also going to be sneak attack, so let me see.
Nice. Sneak attack.
Plus... not quite enough to kill it, but as you see this this smart kobold kind of just and it immediately is going to go try and disappear back behind the trees. What's your passive perception?
21.
You just barely notice as it kind of sneaks back into the cover in a small bush kind of behind the tree. You can just barely see the tip of this kind of hood that it's wearing just poking out, but otherwise it's largely invisible at this point. So, Dragathiel, it is now your turn as you're currently engaged up top.
When's the wedding?
The one creature having left you, another one kind of heading its way towards you. You are currently kind of standing up on a branch about 30 feet in the air.
Cool.
Super cool, yes.
I would like to head over to my friends.
Okay. Are you just hopping out of the tree, or what are you doing?
I mean,
To climb down safely, it's going to cost double movement. If you would like to do something fancy, you can make an acrobatics check to attempt to drop down.
you know,
Yeah.
How badly? I'm just sitting here
Thinking
how
noises.
badly can I screw this up? This one simple ass move.
Boy, that's just the slogan of my life.
It's always the little things that you wouldn't think that you'd mess up with.
Yeah.
You would.
Yeah.
Do a flip.
I mean,
WW.
reasonably, I would just want to
Climb down.
hold on to the branch and then just drop from
Can
there.
I see her? Can I see her trying to calculate a way to get down and assist in some capacity?
I mean, that's what I was thinking. Is I would have grabbed on the branch
Sure.
and dangled and dropped.
Sure, you can do that. I mean, it'll still be an acrobatics check, but it'll be lower.
Okay.
You are, however,
Oh, yeah,
as you
I
recall,
wanted-
wearing heavy armor,
Yeah.
carrying a large... Okay, just... Sure, you can certainly try to do that.
Nah, I'm just gonna.
There's no
not-
trick.
not
There's no
hit
trick.
My head. I'm just gonna not hit my head today.
All right.
I have enough damage already.
So you guys see as Dragathiel kind of slowly makes her way, going from one branch to another, kind of hugging the tree and making her way down.
This is dumb.
It does take you your full movement. You do manage to get just barely to the base of the tree.
Yup.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Tree climbing.
What would you like to do now?
Tree climbing. I mean, I can basically do a bonus action, right? That's
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you can do a bonus action and your action. You haven't used your action. You climb down the tree.
well,
Using
but
your
are
movement.
they how far? Oh, how far away are they?
So
now that I've climbed down the tree.
in the area ahead where Mercy and Finveer are, they're about 20-ish feet away from you now. Then not too far from that, about kind of closing in on you. Looks like he's probably going to be targeting you very soon. Is the other one kind of hopping between the trees? He's about 30 feet away.
Okay.
I don't know why,
Then-
but whenever you make that sound, and the way I'm envisioning it in my head is that one creepy manga thing, the scroll one, where when you're scrolling it
Oh, it just automatically
animates.
goes?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it makes that
Yeah.
sound as it approaches you, and it scares the crap out of you. That's what I'm envisioning.
Their movement is very static, like that, where it's just very stop and go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Picking up what you're putting down.
I mean,
Oh, I forgot one more thing.
how many? Sure. I'm gonna chuck a javelin at the one that's coming at my face.
Okay, very good. Go and do so.
Cause why not? Nerd. Oh, good. 10 total.
As you throw the javelin, it disappears into the darkness of night, somewhere past where the creature is. It doesn't appear to have slowed it down in any capacity.
Awkward.
Good idea. Lighten your load.
Yeah, right.
So you can run faster.
And yeah, why not? I'm gonna throw a second one because
Okay. Go ahead.
it's an option.
It's an option.
19 total.
Hey, that'll probably hit.
19 does hit.
6 total piercing damage.
Okay. You see as it's kind of running at you, kind of hopping from tree to tree, you manage to get another javelin and just catch it in between the two trees. As it's kind of hopping towards you, kind of like stumbles to the ground, impaled as it kind of rolls a few feet closer to you. As it kind of stands up, you see as it kind of like with its somewhat lack of proper hands, it attempts to kind of like move to get the javelin out and eventually does like kind of sling it to the side. But it did take, it did get hit.
To get?
Yay!
As it begins kind of now stalking closer towards you, you see as it kind of lifts up this next arm to as it begins to go ahead and make an attack. However, before it does that, you hear this kind of sound of this like these kind of somewhat thick footfalls as someone is running straight towards you. You hear like just these slapping as you kind of glance behind the creature. You miss. Shut up, Hunter. Doesn't take much for you.
That's what she said.
As these heavy footfalls approach closer, let me go and roll for an attack real quick. That's a 22. That will hit. You see as this kind of figure, probably about your size in shape, covered similarly in armor with a large two-handed weapon, as this small, as you can now see, this small, almost halfling, almost human-looking person kind of jumps and with two hands above their head is going to go and bring their hammer down. Does hit, is also going to use Divine Smite, and also going to use other special ability. Let me see. You see is now from out of the darkness, this hammer comes down, and as it's mid-swing, you see the head of the hammer go whoop and get larger, almost the full size of the body of the creature wielding it, as she brings it down, smacking him on the head. Let me roll damage.
Little hammer, big hammer, grow, grow, grow! Name that anime. Okay, sorry.
I couldn't.
That's okay.
That is just enough. You see as from out of the darkness, the hammer begins to glow as you see it increases in size as it just comes down and smashes into the body of the creature, kind of driving it down into the ground. As you now see this person kind of wipe a bit of soot and sweat off of her face as she gives you a look. And we're going to end it there for tonight. As BB will be joining us next week.
Hey, she's joining us! Ah!
As now
the monster's
looking,
dead?
That one is dead. There are still 4 more, but yeah.
Y'all surrounded. I'm not now.
It's
I'm
okay, we
okay.
got this. This is
We're
So-
nothing.
fine. We're fine.
The whole gang is getting back together.
Having more than 3 people will be nice.
So
No, that's true.
we'll dive back into that, and you'll get to meet BB next week. She was a maybe for coming tonight. She had some other plans, but she was not able to make it. But she'll be here next
think it
week,
worked
most
out.
likely, and it'll be super fun. So you guys will get to all kill things together, and it'll be great. We're gonna go ahead and end it for tonight, though. So again, let me see. Ice T again, thank you for those bits, and Mad Money Mike, thank you for that host. We're gonna be back next Monday with this next Thursday with this campaign. We'll be back on Monday with the Monday night campaign. We have 2 campaigns every week, at 8:30 p.m. and 8 p.m. respectively Eastern time. So if you're not already following the channel, please do. And if you're not following any of these beautiful people, make sure you follow these people. You can, and then your life will probably be more complete, is my guess.
Right.
But we're gonna go ahead and end it there for tonight. You guys took a lot of damage. That was really cool.
Sure, that's the word that you use to describe it.
All right, you're just gonna take a real
Just
sweet 36 points of damage.
A harpoon's gonna
How much
just
health do you
shatter
have?
through your
I have
diaphragm,
62.
removing all
I have
trace
62
of life.
Okay, you take 480 points.
Yeah. So we're gonna
I'm
go
just
ahead.
gonna one shot you.
As the harpoon yells mean things about your family,
Oh man. Yeah. You don't get hurt physically, but
but
emotionally.
it calls you ugly. You're like, damn.
Damn.
You cut deep.
Yeah.
Cut real deep.
We're gonna go say hi to
30
Casual
points
Hero
of
again.
disappointment.
Hey,
Super,
Casual.
super
Yeah.
awesome dude. Go give him some love.
Woo!
Fantastic, nice person. Does a lot for charity. Does just a very, very
he's
kind
great.
individual. Very nice
Very
person.
he's a giver, just in
So
all
good.
aspects.
Absolutely.
He's so good.
So you guys go say hello to him. We're going to sign off for the evening. We'll see you here next Thursday, where BB will be joining. So we'll have another person in our party, and then not too long after that, we'll be adding 2 new members to this party, hopefully permanently. But I don't want to spoil any of that too much yet. So it'll be a lot of fun. So you guys have a good night. Go say hello to Casual Hero, and we will see you here hopefully Monday and then Thursday. Bye.
Bye. I love you.